Hello, listening people.
Hello.
You're listening to Spit and Polish Presents Unappreciated Masterpieces. I'm one of your hosts, Ryan Sliwinski.
And I'm one of your hosts, Bartek.
Hi, Bartek.
Hi, Ryan.
How are you?
Good. How are you, Ryan?
Well, I'm very good because we're about to do
You
Unappreciated...
better than me, then.
Did you guys just meet for the first
Guys,
time?
We met for the first time and we've got voices in the background. Our guests. We'll introduce them later. They can just...
Yeah, we'll just chill.
We'll hang back.
Yeah.
We'll hang back. Who are they? You could read the description. You could read the description,
Yeah.
but Bartek, that's the thing.
Yeah?
We're doing our show Unappreciated Masterpieces.
Mm-hmm.
What is it? What do we do?
Unappreciated Masterpieces is a show where we talk about one unappreciated masterpiece per episode.
Okay.
Unless we go on a tangent, but that doesn't count.
In an audio commentary fashion?
I can almost
Yes.
guarantee it.
So we talk about movies that deserve more love, right?
That's
The
exactly
films
it.
that not enough people praise.
Whether they've never praised them or used to praise them, anything can be an unappreciated
That's
masterpiece.
true, that's true. And we're spin Polish, likingly, because we're always spitting, because we're just such sharp dressers.
Mm-hmm.
And we both happen to be Polish, is that not right, Bartek?
Yes.
So, Bartek, I need to know what the film is, because I'm in the episode, and I can't tell myself what the film is until you tell me.
Tell us, Bartek. Tell us the film.
Tell us.
Bartek, how does a podcast work?
Tell us all.
One at a time. What do I answer first?
Bartek, film. Film, Bartek.
Film. The
How
movie-
many lights are there, Bartek?
One.
There's 5 lights.
5? Oh, the actual light in the four of us?
Sure, go on.
Okay. The film that we are doing in this episode is Szczenackie Wojsko.
One more time?
Yeah, hit me again.
Jeez,
That's
guys,
my favourite
it's
movie.
Szczenackie Wojsko.
Was
Now,
this
Bartek,
released in Poland?
Now, Bartek, I think you're speaking some language, and the disembodied voices are saying Polish, but could it be Czechoslovakian?
Actually, Ryan, the voices were right. It's Polish, which
Oh,
you
okay.
and I speak because we are spitting
Wow.
Polish, right?
Well, I don't speak the language.
I'm as
I'm
surprised
Polish.
as you are.
If you've listened to the show many times, I don't speak the language. But Bartek doesn't listen. He's in the episode.
Yeah,
So he
oh,
forgets by
jeez.
the end. It's like post-traumatic stress disorder. Every time I say it up, he's like, oh god, it's flashing back.
Oh no.
All the memories, except for last episode where I could speak nothing but Polish.
I don't remember that far back.
Sounds like some sort of fever
So,
dream.
what's the movie called in English for those non-Polish speakers like myself?
Well, Ryan, if we look up at the title, it is clearly Major Payne feat Ian... Oh, no, wait, forget the feet part. Major Payne.
Major Payne, the great film Major Payne with everyone's favourite actor, Damon Wayans.
Yes, from 1995, I believe.
That's correct.
Yeah.
But Bartek, we don't do this alone. We have some disembodied voices joining us in the studio.
Well, as soon as we give them names, they'll be people, right?
I don't know.
No?
Not really.
Yes.
Can I
We don't-
stay disembodied?
Sure, why not? He has no body. We don't know if it's a he, it could be a she, it could be a pet.
Is that-
We don't know.
I'll go by Ollie.
Ollie?
Thank you very much, guys.
Well,
an
Bartek will introduce you,
Odd
okay?
choice.
Bartek.
Our first disembodied boydied.
Boydie.
Look here, it's me! My first disembodied voice.
The first disembodied voice is Ollie Oxley.
That is me.
Well done.
Hello. Thanks for having me, guys.
You have a name.
And the
Congrats.
second one also has a name. It's Ian Johnson.
That's me.
Hi, Ian.
And they are from a podcast.
It's true, we are.
We are.
which
It is
one?
Shaken Not Nerd. We are just 4 normal guys hanging out, having fun, talking crap,
A
reviewing
bit like
movies.
this one
Yeah.
times 2.
Yeah.
Exactly. You guys talk about, like, pop culture-y stuff.
Yeah.
You do a film
Yeah.
review if there's a film out, or you talk about...
Yeah. Someone actually asked me recently at work
What do you do?
what our podcast is on.
Okay.
And I'm like, oh, we just like talk crap. It's like, well, what's your theme? I'm like, we don't really
Nerds.
have a theme. We
Well,
just
they're
sort
not
of-
nerds.
It's pop culture.
Yeah, not
Pop
nerds.
culture,
It's just
that's
like
the
pop culture.
theme.
We do a movie review if there's a good movie out.
Or a
do
bad
a
one.
video game. Yeah, or a bad one. If it's like particularly bad, Venom or Skyscraper or The
That-
Meg.
That gnome one.
Yeah, Sherlock Gnomes. One of our best episodes. I had so much fun.
Dudes, you're just listing films we're going to be covering sometime in the future.
Give it 20 years.
Yeah.
Oh boy. So you guys, Shaken Not Nerd, how interesting.
Yeah, I have fun. I don't know
You
about
have
Ian.
fun?
Sometimes.
Yeah, when we're not teasing him so much.
When,
Yeah.
Oh,
I'm sorry.
You the punching
I'm
bag of the group.
always the punching bag.
It's weird because you're the punching bag of our group too, and you're not even in the
Ah.
podcast.
Oh no.
That fucking Ian.
Normally it's me.
You're the surrogate of him when he's not here, which is every
Finally.
episode except for this one. It's all been leading up to this moment.
130 episodes, we're finally there.
We're
We
led
made
up, we've led up to the moment in which I have to tell you guys at home, you have to have a copy of the movie Major Payne, because we're going to be doing the audio length, the feature length audio commentary for the film. I have a copy of the film, you should have a copy of the film, because this film is great. And we're going to be talking about it. We're not going to sugarcoat it. We're going to get into all the nitty-gritty. This movie is 20-something years old. You've had enough time to absorb it into your flesh and understand the plot points. We're not going to go, spoiler alert, Major Payne's an asshole.
Is there a spoiler?
Well,
There is.
there's many spoilers if you want there to be, but I'm going to do a countdown, and when I say play, you're going to press play as well, and hopefully we'll be lined up. So get ready, because I'm going to start this in 3, 2, 1, play. So, gentlemen, do you have a history with this movie?
I do, actually. So I come from a broken home. I know this is getting really dark real quick, but I spent a lot of time at my cousin's house.
Okay.
And this was one of the only videos that he had, like, recorded from TV. Mm-hmm. And it was the first one
Back
where
when everyone did that.
Exactly. It was the first one that I realized you could have, like, the ads cut out. If
Yeah,
you just
yeah,
press
yeah, yeah.
stop and then record when it's back on. So, like,
Yeah.
all the ads were gone. It was, like, the best video that we've had.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, fair enough.
Yeah.
Do you know, forever I missed like the first 2 minutes of Aladdin because I
Really?
had it recorded off TV and no one fucking hit record yet.
Dude, that's happened to me, not with the videos, but with me. I've said on the show before, there's many movies on this where I've seen the movies, but not in full all the way. Like,
Yeah.
first episode, Big Fat Liar, I usually miss the first 15 minutes of that movie because I would turn it on, it's already started.
Yeah, yeah,
So
you
I'd
don't
have to
miss
figure
much.
out the... No, you do.
It's just Frankie Muniz being an asshole.
No, it's him being a legend. How dare you?
And you meet the bully whose character changes later on.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the bully. I
redemption
never
story.
understood the bully. But what about you, Bartek? Do you have a history with this?
No, I don't.
You've never heard of it before?
No, well, maybe I've heard of it, but I've never seen it before until this show.
I'll ask you this. Have you at least heard of Damon Wayans or his family?
I've heard of the Wayans family, yeah.
Doesn't he have like a wife and kids?
Yes, he does. And it's a production company.
Yeah, I actually looked them up on Wikipedia, and they're like this entire huge family from
It's-
back in the 50s that, like, just
Yeah.
million members that's all been in entertainment.
Yeah, they
industry.
are what you would call Hollywood royalty, if you really want to get there with them and the Barrymores and
Oh wow.
onwards. And it's interesting. I would say they're one of the few black, Hollywood royalty families that I can think of.
Dynasties.
Dynasties, yeah, they really are. They've transcended so many, but
Somebody take a mind off that all. Sorry,
This is-
I'm gonna be doing this the
I
whole
will. I
time.
will too. Before we get into my history and Ian's history, we have to talk about this scene because this is one of the setups to the greatest jokes ever, which is he breaks this
Works
guy's
every time.
finger to get his mind off the pain of his wound. But I love the fact that the follow-up to this is as soon as he meets the little boy, he wants to break his finger.
You want to show you a little just take a mind off that pain?
Oh, this is such a fantastic movie. So, what's your history?
My history is very limited in that
Yeah, when did you watch this for the first time, Ian?
this film was a major pain in my ass last night.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
So
I had
was-
always seen bits of it. Like
So you never seen full?
I'd never seen the full thing start to finish, mostly because of its quality.
Okay. So wait. So you saw bits of it when you were like what, a young kid, or when you were
Yeah.
a teen?
Yeah,
or
young
what?
kid.
Okay.
What year did this come out?
1995.
95. Yeah, so we would have been.
I would have
three.
been 3 when it got released,
Yeah.
but maybe 5 to 10. I
Fair
watched
enough.
it over
Yeah,
and over
probably.
again.
So you didn't like Major
So,
Payne?
No, it
enough.
was a VHS movie for sure.
What do you mean?
Like that's
Very hot shit.
yeah. I don't think anyone actually went to the cinemas to see this, did they?
I don't
Ever?
know if it got a...
It got fairly
theatrical
good
release.
critical reception at the time. Roger Ebert, one of the most famous film reviews and arch nemesis on the show,
A real punching bag.
our real punching bag, he gave this 3 out of 4, and that's pretty good for him.
That's
3
pretty
out of
good for
4?
him.
Just to let you know, he didn't give Full Metal Jacket that much.
What?
Yeah, well, this, I reckon it's
he
just...
said that no one would remember it in comparison to Platoon.
Yeah.
Well, in his defense, Platoon's pretty good.
It's no Full Metal Jacket, though.
No, not really.
Nothing is. But and he also said that Gladiator would never win the Academy Award and no one
Well.
would like it because it was boring. And he said this
just
other movie
slow.
about George Clooney on a boat would be better and better remembered.
Is that the Perfect Storm?
Yeah.
Ugh.
He said that's one of the best movies of the 21st century.
Yuck.
Wow.
So, I love this movie. I grew up with this movie. This was a constant staple in my childhood. It was on video as well. I also had it recorded off the TV.
Yeah.
This introduced me to so many things. Damon Wayans, of course. A lot
Yeah.
of people, our generation, probably got introduced to him in My Wife and Kids, which we kind of jokingly said had a jab at it before. But I actually think that show's pretty good. Like, it
I
ages
loved it.
pretty well.
I
No,
loved
that
it.
was a great show. Yeah.
It was, and it had so many great actors in it too. Like his wife was one of the singing women in that Little Shop of Horrors. And she's done a whole bunch of other stuff. But yeah, I got introduced to Damon Wayans from this. I got introduced to the song "Bad to the Bone" from this.
Yeah.
This introduced me to so many interesting things. This is one of these movies that only you could make in the 90s, where it's directed towards children, but it's not.
It's
You
gonna
know,
be violence.
That's what I was
It's
thinking.
violent.
Violent. I'm like, some of these jokes are not for children.
No, most of them aren't.
Yeah.
But as a child, I always appreciated those. Like, I could recognize that they weren't meant to be directed at me, but I could still see the humor in them. Like when he wants to break the kid's finger, or when he does horrible, mean things or says mean things. Like this scene here.
You'll never hurt her again.
The best part of this scene is her acting. It's just so fucking... I thought of you, Bartek, when watching it. I was like, he would like this woman's poor acting in this scene.
When she did start, I
love
started.
they're also normal, but she immediately kicks it off with just, okay, this is just strange. Just neutralize.
I actually think one of the best parts of this scene is the lieutenant's
Reaction?
face afterwards. He's just like,
He's
gobsmacked.
He's horrified. He's like, this is a genuine psychopath.
There's a lot of good cut to faces, then they react, especially
Yeah.
with the kid.
I think
yeah.
I have a long history with this movie. I love this. It just he's already been locked up. How great! But yeah, this movie struck me to the core. But the weird thing is, I don't know about you with having seen this in the past, but having to rewatch it for this, I realized I had not watched this movie in like 10 years.
Yeah, it's
And
probably about that.
I had forgotten so much of the movie. Like, I
Yeah.
forgot certain kids' roles in the movies, because this movie is about kids in this military, not military school. They're just in some private school, and they're the
Some boarding
military.
school of some sort.
It's a boarding school.
Boarding school, private school, where William Hickey is the best character ever as
We
the
don't
principal.
have schools like this here, do we?
Huh?
Nah.
This is a very American thing, right? Because I was like, what?
With what? Sorry.
Like a
Schools like
military
Oh, we do.
investment.
Like
but
academies.
like, there's like a school, and then there's like military.
Oh, maybe not a proper
class.
school, because in my hometown there was there was a bunch of the private school boys used to after school have to go to like the military cadets camp.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, cadets is
cadets
sort of
is
like sort of like this, but this is a boarding school where they stay.
Yeah.
Everything. It's not just sort of like an after school.
Are there many
extracurricular
boarding
activities.
schools in Australia where you just have to stay there?
No, that's what
If
we're
ever?
saying.
Yeah,
we,
okay.
we do have a few boarding schools. Like even in this area here, there's one.
Okay.
But like they're not.
Is Damon Wayans
They're
teaching
like,
there? Or?
I wish.
No,
I wish.
they're like
too,
for rich
buddy.
people.
Well,
Yeah.
this is for rich people too. Did you see
Yeah,
Michael
true.
Ironside and how rich he was as that one guy's
The
dad?
drunkie?
as not Jack Nicholson.
yeah, true.
No, I've forgotten so much about this movie, kids' roles. I forgot about the love interest storyline. All I
Yeah.
remembered was the quotes. This
Exactly,
is such
yeah.
a quotable movie. The little engine that
Is it?
could.
Yeah.
The little engine that could. Chicka chicka toot toot.
Would it be that quotable if you hadn't seen it as a kid?
Well, you could say
Probably
that about
not.
anything. Would anything be
Bartek-
that quotable if it wasn't
I know that for
quotable?
me, I think I'll need to see it a few more times before I get all the quotes, but I definitely remember laughing at a lot of lines in the
Right.
film.
There's some scenes in this movie.
But look, he's
This-
about to break the kid's finger from that So Raven.
That's what he's from.
He grew up to be a really disturbed, perverted man.
It's like-
That's okay. It's Damon
You've just
Wayans'
named
fault.
like 90% of Hollywood.
yeah, but like he has a YouTube channel that's fucking nuts. Oh, it's
Like-
it's
like
like
Lindsay
Randy
Lohan
Quaid nuts.
Randy
Lindsay Lohan, where she does the live Instagram thing
Yeah.
where she's kidnapping her child. Yeah, wish it was that nuts. Nothing can be, but
Can we?
Is
Can
Tiger
we
a common name?
no, it's
be a
his
nickname.
nickname.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's his nickname because you hear his full name throughout
Oh,
the
you
movie,
do.
but it's a nickname because
Of
he
Tiger
just
Woods?
probably of Tiger Woods, and also he likes animals. He likes animals.
Does he?
I think his face paint
It's a
When they do
flower,
the-
and he has
yeah.
like tiger stripes on the
Yeah.
other side. So
He does, yeah.
Clever.
this movie has a lot of setups and payoffs.
What?
Oh, here he is. Can we talk about the best character ever? William Hickey as principal, who's
What?
obsessed with animals, like
Slash-
specifically
bugs.
insects.
Slash
Butterflies,
Stephen
yeah.
Hawking.
Why?
You don't get
right.
Stephen Hawking vibes?
No,
No?
yeah, it definitely is like curled up in a chair.
Yeah.
You know how you guys want to take a guess how old he is? Like the actor was?
62.
No,
23.
no.
He just smokes a
Bartek?
lot.
I will let you
Was-
know he died 2 years after this.
Yeah, I did see
which
that.
is a tragedy because he.
99.
I did see what year he was born when I looked him up, but is he like 40 something?
No, he's 65.
65.
That's pretty damn
It
close.
was close. You were close. That's
Yeah.
why I didn't want to go.
62. God damn.
But I this guy's great. I loved him in this. I love the jokes that he had. Like when you hear him on the
program.
when you hear him on the speaker, you can hear the bugs.
Yeah.
See, a lesser kids movie wouldn't have gone to that attention to detail. They would
it
have just
is.
had him be like, "Hello, it's me." You know, like do him and that's it.
So why does he like bugs, and how does that play into the storyline?
Well, it doesn't
It
have to
doesn't.
play into the storyline because he is
Why
a
is it- why
minor
is it
character. Well, it's funny because the fact he is an old curmudgeon who is infested with bugs.
I forgot the deaf guy.
What about the deaf guy? You
I forgot him.
Oh, you forgot him?
Yeah.
No.
He's a very forgettable character.
Well,
No. He
No,
does.
he's
He
not.
catches
He's
the gun
important.
at the end.
he's important.
He has the big spinny thing. Now, I will want to point out something. I watched this with my fiance last night. She'd never seen the movie before, and when they all get their heads shaved, she said this statement and said it very sternly.
Okay.
She said, "Wow, they even shaved the female staff member's head." And I'm
I
like-
thought it was a girl
and I'm like,
for so long.
Who? And she's like, the female staff member. And then we had to rewind it. And I'm like, are you talking about the one with the funny voice? Like the real raspy voice? And she goes, yeah. And I'm like, you mean the first kid we
Yeah.
meet in this camp other than the little boy? And she
Yeah.
goes, no. And I'm like, no, it's a boy for a start. It's clearly a boy. And she's like, no, look. And
It
she
took
made
me a while to tell
made
whether it was boy or
and,
girl.
and then I had to rewind it. And it's like, we watched the scene 3 times for me to prove that it was a guy. Then we Googled him. Like, now apologize to this beautiful woman who's clearly a man. I don't know. I never thought. I thought it was clearly a boy. I mean,
I thought that it must have been because it's an old boys squad, but when the first time we see them, it's the shot close
Which
up.
one
they're
are we
screaming.
talking about?
the one with the raspy
The
voice.
The one that's on the
That's
very
the
right.
the one who's the
at this
suck
point.
up, the one who was initially in charge of the squadron
okay.
of cadets, and then he gets demoted and he joins the other school at the end of the race and kicks our hero down.
I was thinking, was that him?
Yeah, and then he gets punched in the face, and
Yeah,
we never
because
see
they
him again.
didn't really explain that.
I'm like,
so
that looks
well.
like
no,
the
they
guy.
did.
This one.
They did though.
How did they explain it though?
You
'Cause I
saw
thought it
him
was
in a
just
scene
suddenly-
where he was packing his things and saying, "I'm going to a different school.
Yeah.
I'm done with this." And then the next time you see him, he's at the opposition
Yeah.
school that he didn't go on the Black Ops mission with them.
Yeah.
That's the whole setup of it.
He's the one that tripped.
That's not a
Yeah,
very
he
good
tripped.
setup.
He
Yeah.
tells them, yeah.
It is. It's a setup and it's good.
It's a terrible setup.
What would you do as a better setup? Like,
I'd write a good movie.
that's not an answer. Because this, I don't know, I thought the setup of that was pretty well executed. It makes sense. The characters kind of feels betrayed when he gets demoted.
Yeah.
You know, he was a suck up.
It's a-
So
it was-
yes,
it
he's
was a
spineless.
It's a conflict.
Oh, and he
They needed an
pees
enemy
himself.
other than him.
Yeah, other than Major Payne,
Yeah, other
who's also the hero of the movie.
Exactly, yeah.
But yeah, the one with the raspy voice.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no, I thought it was a boy.
Yeah,
Well-
I never questioned it being a girl.
Yeah.
Looks like it's just me.
And
your
my
fiancé.
fiance and Bartek on a level. I had to take a moment to question it.
Hmm.
So Ginger here was in American Pie
Oh,
yeah.
as the Sherman.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
So-
The Shermanator.
He went on to do a big iconic role. It is. You don't want to say it, but like him and
Iconic.
John Cho, John Cho's in that too, and he made MILF a statement.
That's a good
American
point.
Pie. So there you go. Here we are. Now, Bartek, you knew nothing about this movie. You're the one in this group who had no understanding of what you were going to get
I
from
just
this.
saw the poster, then I watched the film.
Sorry.
I love his voice in this. It's like this weird Mike Tyson-esque
Yeah.
kind
Very-
of thing, but it's not like a direct impersonation.
Yeah.
It's his own mix. But Bartek, you knew nothing of this. What were you expecting from this?
Well, again, all I saw was the poster, and I had the title Major Payne, so I just thought it was going to be, a film about a drill instructor, being in charge of a squadron. I didn't necessarily know that there were, young kids or anything like that.
Yeah.
But I did know that, it was probably a comedy, so I was just going to
Did you think it was going to be a family movie?
No, and to be honest, I don't fully see it as one, but, having looked at it again, I guess I can see definitely it would appeal to younger kids in the 90s at least.
Oh, yeah. So what, you thought this was going to be like, what's that Bill Murray movie?
Stripes.
Yeah.
You thought it was going to be a movie like Stripes, where it's like this squadron adult comedy-esque type thing with adults. You didn't expect children to turn up.
Well, I didn't know what to expect from the squadron,
Okay.
so it was a nice blind experience.
That is great, because there was a blind kid later. You're just cracking up with this.
He's deaf.
No, later.
No, he's talking about the very last scene.
There's a blind kid at the end of the movie when he gets his new squadron
Yeah.
and he shaves his dog.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that's right. This
I
film-
did immediately think, no, he was deaf, but I'm
Yeah.
like, all right, the end of the
Now
film.
look,
Yeah.
I had forgotten a lot of things in this too, but having to rewatch it, the biggest shock I ever had is I and this is the thing, I had only seen it on VHS quality. Seeing it on, higher res quality, I never noticed that he has facial hair underneath his chin.
Does he?
Does he?
Yeah. There's a scene later where he really does the yelling and his chin goes into his face and
yeah.
you see it and I'm like, oh my god. You'll be having to look out for it now, but it's there. There's like this little line under his chin, like right
Yeah,
under.
I see it. I see it a little bit.
And it's just like, I never noticed this until watching it last night. See, this is the nuances of Major Payne.
Nuances.
It's called the mise en scene.
I like the IMDb trivia that was like, in the scene where he says, I am not your brother, it's actually funny because they're uncle and nephew.
Yeah. That's Damon Wayans.
Well, not this one, but the other one.
No, yeah, the other one, sorry. Yeah. Oh, don't you like how he treats the the deaf kid? He's still...
There's no...
No
What's the
special
word?
treatment?
Yeah.
No, he has no prejudice. He treats them equally. Now, I just want to mention this. This is the only scene I feel like where this guy's eyes are so dreamy that you get lost in his eyes. The rest of the movie, his eyes are never this dreamy. Like, when they have more close-ups of it, it's this whole sequence of their back and forth. He has the most dreamy blue eyes that you just kind of fall into.
Maybe it's coming from his hair.
I think it is. Look at these eyes, guys. These are like they're either the most
doesn't-
beautiful eyes or a serial killer's
Yeah.
eyes.
He's one of those people, like, once you shave their head, they do look extremely different.
Yeah.
Yes, you can not notice his giant nose when he
Yeah.
has a shaved head, but when he has hair, you're like, these eyes. Oh my god. Bartek, do you remember the actor's name?
This is Stephen Martini, right?
Yes.
Not to be confused with Steve Martin.
That's exactly what I went to. I'm like,
That's
son?
Yeah, and he changed his name to a magician's name. I am Stephen Martini.
The Great Martini.
I'm the great Stephen Martini.
He's kind of squinting when he's not got his hair.
Well,
Well, it's sun protection.
Yeah.
it's sun protection.
Yeah?
So, having to, do this movie again, like for this show, it was quite a weird thing because I asked you guys, Shaken Not Nerd guys, to come on, and immediately was like, "Could we do Major Payne?"
Yeah, because I've been thinking about it that day.
And
It was 100%
Is there
my
a day that
suggestion.
you don't think about it?
No. Wake up in the morning, Major Pain.
Major Pain.
and
Go
it
to
was,
sleep, Major Pain.
and it was one of those suggestions where it's like, this was not on our list of movies. Like, we have
Yeah.
a list.
Have you got Super Baby Geniuses on your list?
No, we have Baby Geniuses.
Geniuses.
the
Say
first
Super
one.
Baby
Sorry.
Geniuses.
That's the
That's the
second
second
one. That's the
one.
second
Is
one.
it?
Yeah.
Baby Geniuses has Christopher Lloyd and Kathleen Turner
Yeah.
in it.
That was a movie that
and
I
Dom
had-
DeLuise.
Dom
had
DeLuise.
on
And Dom
VHS.
DeLuise gets kicked in the balls. But yeah, you suggest this, and it just kind of really just threw me off because I was like,
Why?
because when we do this show, I don't know how it is for you, but there are some things when you're doing a show like a podcast where you have certain things in your brain where you go, yeah, this will work and this wouldn't work, and ones that you don't even think of. And this was I didn't even think of putting this on our show because in my brain, it's like, well, everyone loves Major Payne. It's a classic. like
It's
like,
not an underrated masterpiece. It's just a masterpiece.
like that. It's just like
Yeah.
one of those. It's like saying, "Hey guys, do Goonies." Well, no, everyone loves Goonies. Like
Yeah,
in
some-
my brain, it was like, "Oh yeah, this is one of these ones where for the '90s kids."
Yeah.
I'm not saying it's Goonies, but I'm just saying like for '90s kids, this for me, a lot of kids my age knew this movie and was like, "Oh yeah, Major Payne." We all love Major Payne. But then I looked at it, in like online, and I'm like,
And realised
people don't like this.
No,
But
no.
then the internet can be weird like that, you know.
It's
where
very
Yeah,
there's-
people don't like
polarizing.
Venom.
Yeah. And that's
What?
a masterpiece.
I've seen nothing but slash fiction saying otherwise.
Yeah, and Ryan, you own a poster of Venom.
Yeah.
Now I
Yes,
do.
proud owner of a Venom poster.
Venom. Too bad it doesn't have like, you know how the movies have like the little
The catch-all.
catchphrases.
Gotta
Too bad it
go
doesn't
get 'em.
say "gotta go hit 'em" or "where's denim."
Where's
Venom, go to wear denim. But yeah, when you suggested this,
You're
it
just a
really
bit
threw me off because I was like, whoa.
You have to face a hard truth.
It's like when I
Your childhood
suggest.
wasn't perfect.
It's like when I suggested that we should do Bend It Like Beckham for the show, and a lot of people were like, whoa, Bend It Like Beckham?
Yeah,
but
that's
then
a lot
you-
better than this.
I've never seen it.
Really?
And I've never seen Goonies. You mentioned Goonies. I've never seen Goonies.
I didn't see that as a kid, and then I
Well,
saw it
I
a
will
lot
be
later,
honest, with
and
Bend It Like
for that
Beckham,
reason,
with Bend It Like
Goonies is-
Beckham, of
yeah.
course, it's a brilliant film. But I think the thing that this has a strength over it is Bend It Like Beckham has, and I counted, 21 montages,
Wow. that's a
while
lot of
this
montages.
only has like 6.
It's true.
So at least this is more of what you call a film,
Yeah.
while Bend It Like Beckham's a movie. You know, like, you know what I mean? There's that
Okay,
difference.
subtle difference.
It's a very subtle difference. So, Bartek, how happy were you while watching this movie?
I was very pleased.
Well,
I have a feeling, because like I've only watched this as a kid.
yeah.
Under 18, not allowed to drink.
Oh, dude,
I
you should
think
watch it as an adult.
If I had a few drinks under my belt and watched this, I would find it even better. And that's saying something because I fucking love this movie. Like, it's
Dude,
nostalgia.
you
it's
should just watch
everything.
it sober. It's even funnier.
No, I mean, like,
There's so many jokes.
it just like opens your mind to just like accepting the stupidity of like poor jokes that are clearly meant for like
Of the fact that he
10-year-olds.
literally tortures children and gets away
Well,
with it.
here's
That's
the
okay.
thing. Here's the thing, though. I will ask this. Like, do you think the jokes are aimed towards kids? I mean, you haven't watched it in so
Yeah.
long, but honestly,
90s kids are different.
For me, I don't know, you two, having watched it as
Comedy's
adults,
changed.
I feel
Comedy
like
has
this
changed.
this is way more aimed at like the humor's more adult than a kids
Yeah.
movie. Like I can barely think of any kids jokes in this. Like
Yeah, not
there's not a. The closest we get is one fart joke. One.
Yeah. It was a good
Boy,
fart
it's a
joke.
And it-
doozy.
But honestly, I think the humor is way more catered for people our age now. Like
Older,
it's one of
yeah.
these ones where it's
Yeah.
like the '90s did that. They gave you kids movies
But
so that
movies
when
in
you grew
general
up,
were like that. If
Yeah.
you think back to like even Predator, like that movie.
the kids movie,
Yeah, the kids movie Predator.
the one where they hunt for autism.
Yeah.
My favorite.
Like the original Predator, people get like shot through the chest,
Yeah.
and there's heaps of gore and stuff. And nowadays, that's an R-rated movie, and
it was then too.
was it?
Yeah,
Huh. I
because
take that.
R-rated movies could be successful back then.
Yeah.
The '80s.
Yeah.
Yeah, the
It's
80s.
just it's
Well,
just
it's
a-
NC-17.
it's
They
very-
couldn't, or
it's very
X or
protected
whatever.
now. Everything's very protected. Like you
Oh
can't.
yeah, but things are
You,
changing.
if you couldn't have, I wouldn't say they're changing for the positive.
well,
If
you
you're
got stuff
looking-
like Deadpool
like a movie
that's
like
showing that you
this-
could do R-rated stuff be successful.
Yeah, but you couldn't have that for kids, is what I mean. Is
Oh,
like,
right.
Like what's allowed for children has changed so much. Back in the times, like this was a children's movie, and a lot of the jokes were tailored to families because it's a family
Yeah.
movie, and now it's more about a kids movie.
Yeah,
I
this
get
film is
that.
full of Major Payne calling them really mean
Turds.
names like turd mainly.
Unity, turds.
Yeah, I hear what you're saying. I think what's happened is it's gone to TV. I feel like a lot more kids shows are a bit more cerebral and more catered towards like, you know, teens can watch these kids shows more than what we had. Like there's those kind of shows like, what was it, Regular Show and Adventure
Yeah.
Time and all those where they're very kidsy shows, but there are lots of adult elements in there. While
Yeah.
movies maybe a bit lesser in that. Like the '90s, they
Like even if you look at some of the Disney movies, like if you look at what was a really shitty fucking snowflake chick,
Frozen.
Frozen,
snow.
Let it go, Ian.
Really fucking shitty snowflake.
little
chick.
snowflake shit.
Can't get away with that title in 2013.
Majority of the jokes in that movie.
There were jokes.
Yeah, exactly. Majority of the jokes are very kid focused.
Oh,
Whereas
yeah.
you compare it to movies like this back in the 90s and 80s, if you go back to then, there are a lot more jokes that are for varying ages.
Yeah, I think the closest we get with this in terms of movies that are catered towards many people is like the Guardians of the Galaxy movies have
Yeah.
like they're
I'd say Marvel are
somewhat
probably doing
kiddie,
it pretty well.
but they don't have this. where
Yeah.
like there were movies like this and Drop Dead Fred where they did not care if you were a kid,
Yeah.
but they will still make you this movie. And as
Yeah.
a kid, I enjoyed that so much. But as an adult, Bartek, viewing it, how did the humor and the jokes and the characters hit you?
Well, like I was telling you when I got here to the studio, Ryan, you told me this was a kids' film, and that kind of threw me off because I didn't think of it as a kids' film because I didn't have that context of, it was aimed at kids apparently when it was released.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, it just seemed like, this film's clearly catered to adults, so it's clearly not a kids' film or a family film.
But then you think of the story, and it's like, yep, it's for kids.
Yeah. Well, I know that when I was watching it, like, the big question that I had in my head is, okay, we've established that our main character, Major Payne, is a big military guy, and everything he says, all his anecdotes are related to the military. He's hardened. This is all he knows. It's almost like Big Boss from Metal Gear Solid.
Direct comparison, yeah.
There are a lot of direct
Exactly
comparisons.
the same.
I wonder if
But,
he watched this and got inspired.
Well, there's a whole plot about that character where, he's a soldier, he only knows how to fight, so he creates an economy where he can fight.
There you go.
But anyway, the thing was, is this going to be a film where only in this context, only this character can fix the problem of, hardening these people up? Or is it going to be a film where the context changes him to a more sensitive, understanding person? And my big question there was, what's this film going to do? And it really went with kind of both.
Yeah.
But it also, at the end, still shows you that he is still a fucking psychopath.
Yes.
With how he has the shot zooming in on his face while he goes through every single laugh that he's done throughout the movie. I just want to point out, I love that grenade scene where he threw a live grenade, because the thing is, again, I think there's some things that we should be looking at to praise in this, because, for instance, you could go, well, why would that kid...
That's one of the best things
That's
to praise.
when-
How he opens a can.
It adds to the character.
little things that are
It's the little
the
things,
best
but
things
like,
in
yeah,
this
like the
movie.
grenade thing I love is all the kids run away, but the older one stays. Why the other ones run away was because they saw him use an actual live gun early in the movie, while the other guy was late and did not see that.
Yeah.
So he had no context for the idea that he would use real weapons.
What really killed that scene for me, though, was the use
rain?
of fast forward.
I
Fucking
hate that. I was going to bring that up.
fast-forward jokes.
It's very 90s, but also very kids film.
Yeah,
Like,
that's,
that
is
that's-
like
100%
There's
a
little
kids
bits
movie.
where you go, yeah, it's
That
a
is
kids
a good
film.
point, actually.
And that's one.
I don't know. The
They
film
use-
Carrie did it.
Yeah, also not a good film.
It wasn't what the
Yeah, I don't
Sissy
like it.
Spacek one.
Yeah, I hate it.
Oh wow. Okay. When okay.
It's
I don't want to get into
it's
it.
not good.
Don't want to get into it. John Travolta's best performance, whatever.
John Travolta's
Have you seen
many
Grease?
good performances.
I hate Grease. Well, we did Grease too.
Oh,
Oh.
Oh, dude, you should listen to that. We got real analytical on that. Like, I actually, that legit is an underrated classic. Like, that movie has so many things going on in it. Oh boy, Grease 2. I'm getting hot and bothered thinking about Michelle Pfeiffer on a ladder.
Michelle Pfeiffer.
Her first film.
Was it?
Yeah. Yeah.
There were parts in this film where they were carrying rifles, and it did make me think of Grease too.
Oh, good. With the I Want to Rape You in My Bunker song from Grease 2.
Please, that song's called "Do It for Our Country."
Yeah.
Jesus Christ, what am I missing?
Grease 2, clearly.
Oh my god.
There's this whole song about reproduction.
Oh, but the joke is, one of the jokes is, the meta jokes is the song sung by Tab Hunter, who was one of the first well-known openly gay actors, and he's really, really bugging out by the fact that the girls are talking about reproduction. but in the movie, he's really straight, so it's kind of like one of those little meta jokes. I was like, the audience know he's gay, so it's like, but he's playing, like, he's a straight guy. Oh, now, come on. I've never seen a cupcake look more delicious than
I'd
in
eat
this
it.
movie.
I'd eat it.
I'd eat
It's
it.
worth the risk.
Yeah.
And if you were him, all you get is just one fart. I mean, what's the risk?
That's fine. That's an efficient bowel.
He's an iron
more than
stomach.
efficient.
He has an iron stomach.
I love the kid like, what the...
Sherman, yeah.
He's unbeatable.
He is. He doesn't lose.
This is one of the best jokes in it. It's just that he gets fucking knocked out cold by it.
I love how it's straight away.
Yeah.
You know what I love, though? He doesn't drop a thing, though.
Yeah.
He holds
Takes
on
the whole
to it.
tray down with him.
This
This annoys me, how slow this finger moves.
Yeah.
And that it's in front of the camera for way too long.
Wow, that's your big
It's a
complaint.
And it's not
I
in
know.
focus.
It's just really annoying.
God, the mise-en-scene here
I
is so
couldn't
perfect.
focus
though.
on what they were saying because there's this bloody kid's grotty finger in my face.
But it's not in focus.
Oh,
I love you just watching
There,
this.
there are so many. There are so many times in this movie where I look at
Kids' fingers?
No,
yeah,
no, no.
I agree,
All the
Bartek.
time.
No,
I'm constantly-
Stephen Martini, and I keep thinking he's Tobey Maguire.
Oh,
Yeah, I see that.
Is it because you're too distracted by his finger and you're like, oh, Spider-Man had a
Was
finger?
it,
No, I think his
was it his
profile.
finger?
No, just any kid's finger.
Okay, well, I wasn't paying attention to his finger. I was paying attention to his face.
No, we all
Yeah.
pay attention to kids' fingers, and that's why this has a 6.2 on IMDb. There's a review probably out there that I bet Ian wrote called
not enough kid fingers.
Too Many Kids' Fingers by Ian.
There are a couple of reviews that were like Major Payne, more like Major Pain, but spelt it P-A-I-N.
Oh,
yeah.
that's just too easy.
It's too
Yeah,
Yeah,
but I feel
even
like-
Roger Ebert didn't
Thank
do
God,
that.
like 3 of them had it.
I feel like Ian's review of Kid's Fingers, his screen name would be the Kid Fingerer.
He would, his YouTube channel would be nothing but those Finger Family songs that they have on kids'
yeah.
YouTube. Now, can we talk about that only in a 1990s kids movie and older, would they have a plot point of them trying to frame the main character for being a pedophile?
Yeah.
And then
Well,
it's instantly gone from the movie. I love it. Because
Nothing happens, even though they literally take a photo
no,
of
but
it.
it's out of focus.
Yeah,
Oh,
this
is it?
film,
Because he takes it while it's moving in
Yeah.
the air.
Did
so...
they say it's out of focus?
No, you as the audience just know that because it's an old camera that he takes a photo of while he's like throwing it in
Yeah.
over his shoulder.
God
so,
forbid they explain things in this movie.
Also,
but
let's
do
just
you
say
need?
that
But
the
do you need
clock
so much
said
exposition?
4. The
Yeah.
clock said 4, and now it's 10 past 12.
Oh yeah.
Oh.
A little bit of goofs there for you.
time travel.
But you don't need that much exposition in what is a family
They
movie.
just
You don't
shouldn't
need,
have
you don't
bothered
need
to
the kids
why
there
bother
going,
taking
"My
the
God."
photo?
Because
shouldn't
that's
have
the whole
bothered-
point. They want to
No.
frame him for being a pedophile.
Yeah, but then they're better off just not taking the photo if they're going to take a photo and
They
then not
but it's-
explain that it
But
was
here's
out
the
of
thing:
focus.
it's kids' logic. They didn't think he was. They thought he was asleep, and then he fooled them, and then they got all afraid because he's fucking scary. He's sleeping with his eyes open, Ian. How terrifying is that?
You're right, it's a masterpiece. I've overlooked everything.
Look, there's his facial hair.
Yeah.
It's right under that
Oh,
chin.
it's a weird facial hair thing.
I think it's covering a scar. I think
I
it's
think
a
you're
little
right.
scar
I believe
there.
that.
But, like, that kind of more accentuates.
Well, you only see it in shots like that. I mean,
Yeah.
if I didn't point it out, you guys probably wouldn't have even noticed.
No.
This is great. The eye fluttering.
Yeah.
I can see, like, if there was a
Hello,
how it should have
dear.
ended, they would, like, take a photo as soon as he grabbed him. It's like, oh, you
Right
made
there.
it even worse.
See, it's all out of focus. See, I don't think they need to explain that. I think you should just know, as an audience member, well, that didn't work. You don't need the kids sitting around with
know.
Vincent D'Onofrio explaining to them why
Yeah.
the mythology of the camera didn't work
I just think they
on
shouldn't have-
Skype
I
or
just think
something.
they just shouldn't have taken the photo.
Because it's kids' logic. They think, you know how we can frame him? We need photographic evidence.
Yeah,
That's
but-
I will say that if I was them, I wouldn't have them go so far. It's like, oh, rest your head on his shoulder and stuff like that.
Oh no,
Yeah.
no, that's
Just
I
make him as
reckon-
uncomfortable. Like, obviously for a comedy film, it's like, oh, make it as silly as possible. But
No, I think
Realistically,
I
if you're
think-
going to frame someone for pedophilia,
No,
like,
no,
you're not
you gotta go
happy,
the
so
whole way.
like,
I
keep
think
away.
no, I think they would do that because you're
like
being...
the lying down. Yes.
No, I
but-
think they would still do that because kids are dicks to one another, no matter what the situation is, and they're being such little bastards by trying to frame him for such a horrible thing. But that's kids.
imagine
like-
if this film came out
Today?
nowadays.
It wouldn't.
It just
It would be a completely different movie.
They
It would be called role
just
models
this scene
with
alone. This scene alone would be like, nah.
no the kids in dresses.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. It's that thing where it's like I think the critique of kids movies they overestimate the sensitivity of children. Like this scene is perfectly fine when you're watching it as a kid because you know what he's
I think
doing.
it's fine for kids. It's the adults that see it.
Yeah,
and
but that's what I'm
complain.
saying. Like the adults who are making and marketing and critiquing these movies
Yeah.
are far too sensitive to kids' entertainment in this regard, especially like live action kids' entertainment, which I feel is much lesser than animated. I feel like animated kids' entertainment is where it's at, but
It's
live
funny 'cause,
action.
like things like this of just someone being in a dress used to be the pinnacle of comedy.
Yeah. But now there would be so many groups that would take issue to this and would actually
Yeah.
speak up about it. And that's why animated is so much easier to get away with.
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
A movie
Yeah.
like this now wouldn't happen. And if it did,
Especially with him like chanting about like, oh, we have to earn our rights to be called men and
Yeah.
stuff like that.
But again, it makes sense for the character. It makes sense for
and
the
a
universe.
military setting. Yeah,
It makes sense for the action as well. It's the perfect... I mean, honestly, if we wanted it to be a real movie, like a real world thing, he would go straight to William Hickey and be like, these children, and then the police would come in, and then the rest would be a courtroom drama.
Yeah,
Like,
See, like this is one of those straight-to-TV movies that like, Channel 7 picks up for like 12:30 in the afternoon on a Saturday. And that's it. They play it every
those
fortnight.
Disney DVD movies.
Yeah.
see, I think it has more cinematic quality than that. I think a lot of the
I don't
visual
think Channel
jokes...
7 cares about cinematic
Oh, no,
quality.
you said direct to TV.
Yeah.
It makes it sound like it's a TV movie.
Yeah, TV movie.
I wouldn't call it of that low quality because I feel like the filming of things
If it
has a
came
more
out, yeah.
cinematic approach. So, like a lot of the jokes really work from the visual elements of the editing, the camera angles, as well as just the delivery, which I feel when you say a TV movie indicates a lesser cinematic quality than what this would have. Like, I feel like this actually has some great cinematography, overall great set design, military stuff is actually on point. Apparently, in the trivia, drill instructors are very impressed with his performance because drill instructors are very similar to stand-up comedians. They have to come up with responses and ideas
the
and
first trivia
improvise
point
on the
IMDb.
spot. And, they said everything he's done, the way he walks, the way he talks, even down to the patches on his uniform actually accentuate his character.
Yeah, apparently there are two very specific ones.
Scuba is one and, like, another water one, and it proves that...
That is like a very high level Marine that would be war hardened. And
Yeah,
his
very,
character fits
like, those...
having those badges.
Having both of them prove that he would actually be very grizzled in war. So that actually kind of...
Details that us lay people wouldn't know, though. So, yeah.
But it's still there.
Oh,
like,
yeah, definitely.
You could
It's
just
attention
have...
to detail.
Like, if this was a silly kids' comedy movie that was made by Robert Rodriguez, he would have, like, a pizza patch on his sleeve or something. Like, you know what I mean? But the fact that, he went to Damon Wayans, I don't know, I think he gave a great central performance. I think he's the thing that holds us all together. What do you guys think?
Yeah, obviously the movie is his movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right? And so
Well, he co-wrote it, yeah.
yeah, and I'm sure he put a lot of money into it.
He is a
whatever the
Wayans.
budget was. Yeah.
He's from the
So,
Dynasty.
anyone know what the budget was for this movie?
I do
By the
not.
way, I'm gonna take a guess and say like maybe $100,000.
No, it's a studio-made movie. Come on, it's got to be
No
in the
way.
millions.
In the
No
90s,
way.
though.
Not in the 90s.
Yeah, no, in the 90s, yeah. Definitely. I think it's insane to think $100,000.
Yeah, maybe a bit more than that.
It's $500,000.
Just to put this into perspective,
I don't think a million.
Kevin Smith's Clerks movie, which came out around-ish the same time, was more than $100,000 in budget, or around there, or a little less. It was around that. So you're saying like that was an indie movie shot on black and white.
Yeah, but film costs a lot.
Yeah, and I think a big studio like Universal could afford it. With Damon Wayans, who was one of the biggest black comedians at the time.
He's probably like 6'3". It's not that big.
I can't think of any taller black comedian at this time. Because Eddie Murphy's short.
Yeah, he's pretty short.
He's a little man.
But at the same time, had he done any movies before this?
Eddie Murphy?
No, not obviously Eddie Murphy. We're in the 90s.
Damon Wayans, yeah, he did a few.
Bulletproof?
I want to say Mo Money happened already by this point. And he did In Living Color, which was one of the biggest
bigger ones, yeah.
biggest shows.
That was a big one.
Yeah, Roger Ebert was basically saying that this is his best performance since In Living Color.
Yeah, which is interesting. So I'm trying to figure out.
I reckon maybe double that. I reckon like 200,000.
200?
Yeah.
Well, it made in the box office $7 million, which is quite impressive because
It got a release?
yeah, it's a movie.
Yeah.
We only
There are
do
heaps of movies that
we
don't
only
go
do
to...
theatrically released films on this podcast.
Yeah, it's not as good. I feel like you could easily critique a TV movie for being lesser quality due to its kind of
The
lesser
thing
quality.
is, you had to compare this to other movies that did come out in the 90s as well, like
Yeah.
family comedies. You compare this to, like, you guys have already done it, Baby's Day Out.
Yeah,
And I think they're about the same quality. But
I think they're
saw
completely different.
in quality.
Yeah, this doesn't rely on green screen technology. It doesn't rely on having to shoot around a baby, which is a
But in
big
the
film.
quality of the product.
Well, this is aimed towards more adults and families, while that is aimed towards children. Like, directly children. There's no ifs and or buts. The closest you can get is the gangsters can be pretty gangstery in that, but they're more Three Stooges.
But at the same time, they're both targeted at family audience.
Oh,
It's the same audience that are seeing them both.
but it's like saying...
You go to the cinemas,
It's like saying...
the same people are seeing Hotel Transylvania that see Frozen.
Yeah, but it's like also saying The Boss Baby.
Hey, that
Same
was
audience.
nominated for an Oscar.
I know, but it's directed towards small children, right? It's like saying something like The Boss, but okay, what is one that's directed to small children? Like the My Little Pony Friendship
Those
is Magic
things.
movie
Yeah.
is
My
saying,
Little Pony-
which is also a cinematic movie that came out last year or the year before. It's like saying that is in the same ballpark in terms of family entertainment as something like Inside Out or Wall-E
But
or
they're
Toy
very
Story.
different budgets as well. Whereas this and Baby's Day Out are probably very similar.
Yeah, but it's what you're directing it towards as well that makes the quality of what you're judging different. Also, even though they're family entertainment, the genres are completely different as well
In what?
in the movies. So this movie is what Bartek was kind of saying in terms of that kind of, it's focusing on one character having to overcome the feeling of being stubborn and da-da-da, and he softens up and he learns to accept and love people. But in Baby's Day Out, it is literally a baby
Yeah.
going from A to B. So story-wise
In
in
terms
that...
of genre, though,
Genre,
they're
both
the same.
they're-
Family comedy.
This is a black comedy for a family comedy with black comedy elements to it, dark comedy elements to it, while Baby's Day Out is a slapstick farce comedy.
And also, Roger Ebert loved this and hated that.
So I don't know. It's kind of like, even though they're both directed towards families, I feel like genre types are different, and they're aimed towards different ages, different demographics, just different.
I beg to differ.
I
I think they're both targeted at a family audience.
Well, yeah,
I
but
would say
different
this
age
more
brackets.
family, Baby's Day Out more kids, less
Yeah.
than a family. It's
Like
more-
kids who
more
don't
of a
know how to
movie-
speak.
More of a movie you put on for your kids
It's
during the
made
day.
it's made with
Just
a
because it
baby
has a
in-
baby in it doesn't mean it's made.
Have
for
you watched
babies.
Babies Out?
I have. Yeah.
Do you note the lack of dialogue and just visual elements?
Yeah,
So that
but
people who
that's-
don't know how to
That's
speak
just visual
yet,
humor. That's like saying Mr. Bean's for babies.
it
Don't
kinda
you dare
is.
say that.
Wow.
It's for both.
Mr. Bean would roll over in his metaphorical grave.
Johnny English. No, I mean, but then Mr. Bean had his animated kids show that's directly aimed for babies
Kids.
and kids because it
I
saw
wouldn't
the
say
elements.
babies.
It has no dialogue,
That doesn't.
and it is so. What is aimed for babies for you then?
That stupid song.
That's not a.
Baby
Baby
Shark.
Shark.
No, but
Catchy
Baby
little
Shark.
song.
No, but what's a show or movie? If you're going with song, that's not not the same
Apocalypse Now.
format.
Nobody makes a movie for a baby. They make it for family.
Yeah, they do.
audiences.
There's people who make entertainment for babies and toddlers
A
and
movie?
stuff.
Like
Movie,
the
sure.
Wiggles movie, sure.
There's I want to say there's that one, the Oogie Loves movie that's made by the
No.
same people who did Teletubbies.
Is that a DVD movie?
No, it went into
That
the
actually was theatrically
It was
released.
theatrical.
Really?
It had
I've
Christopher
never even
Lloyd in
heard
it.
of
It had
it.
it's got Christopher Lloyd. It's got several big name actors.
I think the big thing with that was it was aimed at kids who can walk, because that's the type of film where they wanted them to get up and like dance along with the film.
Yes. Dance along.
But there's still entertainment made out there for small, tiny children, not just 8-year-olds and 9-year-olds.
No.
I think
I'm
we just say
struggling-
that because
There's-
we as kids could comprehend what movies were doing at those ages of 6 and onwards.
I'm struggling to think of a film that's like specifically targeted at infants, but there are definitely films that I can see appealing to infants just because of like visual elements
Because
or
of the
something.
colours.
Baby
of the
Geniuses, we mentioned it a while
Baby
back.
Genius. Yeah.
Again, I would even say Baby Geniuses is family, not infants, because there are jokes that Kathleen Turner makes that are not for kids.
That is true, that is true.
It's like
But,
Kathleen Turner.
but
comedy.
either way, I feel like this movie has more of a film quality to it. It is that kind of character breakdown movie, which we obviously have seen many, many times before, but I haven't seen it done like this in a kids movie where you have a real military
darkness to
macho. Yeah, like we've had darkness in, like, you could say there's similarities between this and Uncle Buck, for instance,
Yeah.
where, you have this adult figure coming into these kids' worlds, there's dark humor in there, and at the end he learns to adapt, but they're very different people, of course, and very different
Yeah.
tones, but you wouldn't say those two movies are directed at the same
God,
audiences necessarily.
I just imagined a world where the roles were reversed and Damon Wayans played Uncle Buck.
You know what he could?
And
Did you know they
John
made an
Candy
Uncle
played
Buck?
Major Payne.
Did you know they made an Uncle Buck TV show with Mike Epps as Uncle Buck?
Jeez.
Yeah, it didn't
I did
do
not.
too well, but
Can't imagine why.
I reckon Damon
world
Wayans.
wasn't
I
ready.
reckon Damon Wayans could do an Uncle Buck character that kind of, schlubby.
He did that. It's called My Wife and Kids.
Yeah, exactly. So John Candy, maybe not so much as Major Payne, but
Did John Candy die?
he's
He did,
long
yeah.
dead.
He's
He
dead.
died on film set
Yeah.
of a heart attack because he was in
Filming The
he was
Crow.
no, it was
Well,
a
that's the other thing that
Wagons
you could probably,
East.
You could probably compare this to is you look at 90s SNL comedy characters are very similar to Damon Wayans' character in this. Like they're very
comedy in general.
It was that character over the top, amplified,
Cynical.
character. Yeah, very
Cynical too, because
Yeah.
you had a lot of these types. But as a child, I loved this. I
You
loved
could
it.
compare this, because at the same time you've got bloody Ace Ventura
Yeah,
and those
exactly.
kinds of movies where the central character is over the top ridiculous.
Yeah, but I think with Ace Ventura, he's far more kid-friendly and likable than
Yeah,
Major
it's
Payne.
a different character, but
It's because he's a bit more silly.
in context of the 90s, you've got
Yeah.
to look
He's
at
got
the
a
very
talking
similar
ass.
thing. He's got a talking ass. Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like Major Payne has a lot of great elements.
It's
that-
almost opposite. Like, it's got a lighthearted character in a almost darker story in Ace Ventura, and then
Yeah.
this is a darker character in a lighter story.
That's
Yeah.
racist.
Yeah, I was thinking the exact same thing, but I didn't want to be that jerk because I feel like I've been roasting all these arguments. Like, no, film and quality, and you're like, no,
I have
I didn't
realized,
like it.
I realized why I thought Dodson was a girl.
Is it because
His
you felt
skin-
something?
No, his skin is so goddamn smooth in this movie.
Skin is too smooth.
I mean, guys don't have smooth skin.
Children
that.
do.
Yeah, but he's got to be at least like 15 here.
No, I don't think he's
The actor, yeah. I reckon he would be about 15 in this.
The one with the raspy voice.
Dodson,
I
yeah.
think he's like 12 or 13. His voice is cracking.
Ian's voice is still cracking.
I don't know about
Yeah.
12. I think 12's a bit low. I think I'm more in the teenage bracket.
Yeah.
It's hard when they're all bald as well, and it's kind of one of these ones where you,
Just imagine you walking through like a retirement home thinking people are 12. It's just because he's bald.
because they're all bald children. It's like when bald people, like, you don't know what their age is after a certain point. Like Patrick Stewart has looked the same.
13.
He's looked the same for the last 30 years. He barely ages because he's bald. That's one of the things that helps him.
So how much, after seeing this movie, do you guys really want a Major Payne hat?
Oh, I definitely
dude,
do.
I'd rather his outfits more than just the hat. I
The
want the
outfits,
full
they-
white.
They do have very good costumes for him in this movie.
Oh, definitely. I mean, come on. Wouldn't you want to wear them to a dance?
Sure.
Ian, for your next dance that you're going to, I believe you have one coming up.
Yeah, I do. I always...
At the restaurant,
Fortnightly.
at the restaurant hip hop dance club that they go to in
I'm
this
coming
small
as
town.
White Major Payne.
White Major Payne.
Yeah.
Wow.
Black
Everyone will
uniform.
get it.
I believe that's his formal Marine Corps
Now,
uniform.
do you guys remember his full name?
No.
My name is Major Benson Winifred Payne.
He got it.
See, I haven't watched this movie in 10 years.
Of course, Benson
I'm
is
impressed.
a loose reference to the TV show character from the same name, Benson, who was like one of those first kind of black-led comedy sitcoms for everyone. Who he started off as like a butler character in another show, and then he got his own show where he was like the president's aide or something. And so in the sphere of African American comedy things, Benson is like one of those characters that gets referenced again and again and again. So I'm not sure if it's a direct reference, but it is one of those things where it's like Damon Wayans probably named him Benson after that character, which is kind of neat. I don't have any direct evidence of this, but it's just kind of a
What-
general...
we can hypothesize.
It's
I
because
know
it's
that
one of
the-
these things where this recurs a lot in African American comedy stuff, where that name recurs a lot because of that character.
Yeah, I remember there was a trivia point on IMDb saying something like... I can't remember if it was the character... I know the name definitely, or the plot, was a direct reference to some older project from, I think, like the 60s or 50s or something like that.
Ah, fair
I might
enough.
be completely misremembering, but I think
Oh
I
no,
remember-
that's when he's having his dream sequence where he's
Fancy.
imagining the perfect family.
There was something like that too, but I think there was something that had Benson in the name.
Yeah.
That there was a reference.
So the character that played not a girl was born in 1982. The actor.
17,
So
man.
17.
13.
13.
Yeah.
I
did say teenage brackets. So.
Yeah, I said like 12, 13, and you guys all
You
like...
said 12.
I said 12, 13.
There's a big
12,
difference between 12 and 13.
Because that's when usually that voice stuff's happening.
This is probably one of the best bits in the movie, in my opinion.
Oh, the little engine that could?
Yeah.
You know what I love about it? His story kind of indicates that it couldn't because it got
Yeah.
blown up.
Yeah.
But it tried, Ryan.
I think this is one of the best monologues ever delivered in cinema,
so
as
good.
well as children's entertainment or family entertainment. I haven't seen anything as... Like, they just let him do it. Like, in another movie, he would have been interrupted by now, or...
Just keeps going.
It's just like they let him keep doing this monologue, and you can just feel that they've written a whole story. Like, you can feel like they have an end point in
Yeah.
mind, and we never get there.
Maybe there is a full story, but they just told the actress to like interrupt when she feels it's right.
Dude, I think it's just when he's like, when I just start saying bam, 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 bam.
You never take me alive! Bam, bam, bam,
I'll
bam.
keep saying bam. You interrupt when you think it's right.
Bartek, this is one of the quintessential scenes. Was this one of your favorite scenes watching it?
I liked it, but I don't think I'd say it was one of my favorites.
What is a standout for you? Because I think when most people think of this movie, they usually come to this.
This is, yeah, for me, this was this scene.
What about you, Bartek? What's a scene that stands out? Was it when he puts Charlie's face on his barbecue and throws him in the kiddie pool?
That was pretty great. Yeah. Oh man, I don't know if I could pick one. There are just so many. I think when I finish the film and I see everything again, I can really pick.
I said, Bubba, they ain't there.
That's a pretty good line.
Of course. Bubba being your reference
I
to
just love-
Forrest Gump, I would imagine.
The thing I love best about this scene is just that I wasn't expecting it, because he starts off like the train's going over the hills and everything, he goes, and it's carrying AK-47s. I'm like,
And
Nuclear
what?
payload.
Nuclear payload.
It's just so quick.
At the same time, you should have, because
Yeah,
for the
'cause
whole
it's like-
movie, he's been like this.
Exactly like that.
He
And that-
shot the boogeyman.
And that was Roger Ebert's big thing, that the fact that he really went all the way with the whole military theme to everything he does and says.
Honestly, I don't know if we'd... Like, I know how we said we wouldn't get this movie nowadays, but I meant, like, imagine the universe if we did. I honestly don't know if there's any actor I can think of, a comedic actor, that would dedicate themselves this much to what is a family movie.
Yeah, true.
Bill Hader. Bill
No.
Hader definitely would, because he dedicates himself to anything he does.
Really, it's weird
Yeah.
because every time I've seen Bill Hader, he's just kind of zoned out in every performance that I've seen him in.
That's just him.
Have you seen the Skeleton Twins?
I have. That's the only one that I'm going to say is standout.
Yeah.
Like, I think of him in something like Paul, where you kind of forget he's in
he's
Paul,
a-
and
he's
he's
a
one of the
backseat.
main characters in that, because
No way,
he's
he's definitely
chasing
a
after
backseat.
them.
I would say
He's
he's a
the
backseat
antagonist
due
of the
to-
movie.
He's a backseat due to Jason Bateman. Because he's
If anything, Jason Bateman's more backseat because he kind of isn't in the movie that much.
but he's the main antagonist. He's the one you think they're running from. He's the most. Zoil is like Bill Hader's boss.
Do you get the joke with his name?
I do.
Lorenzo's Oil. Lorenzo's Oil, a film made by George Miller.
Yeah.
One of those little jokes that film fans will get.
Little
It's
one.
like, I don't need to do this. But I honestly don't think, like, think about this. He commits so much. He does the voice, he does all the military stuff, but he also does the dancing, because I think the Wayans family are just really into dancing, because everything they are in, it's like Christopher Walken and John Candy. They always have to have something where they dance in it for no apparent reason. And I think it's the same with them, because
More fast forward, Jake. just
Yeah.
wanted to point it out.
like White Chicks, one of the greatest
Yeah.
movies ever made. There's dance sequences in that for no reason, and I think in this movie the dance sequences actually add to the story and his character.
Is there a dance sequence in Scary Movie? I'm trying to think.
I would
not
imagine
in-
he does some dancing. No, the other Wayans brothers.
The
Marlon
other
Wayans.
ones.
There's two of them in the Scary Movies. Marlon Wayans and I'm forgetting the other one who's also in White Chicks. But like,
I think it's Damon.
I
is it
thought
Junior?
he was
Damon
still
Wayans Jr.?
involved
No.
in White Chicks as a writer or something, or a producer.
no, he hasn't really done. Probably as a producer, but there's another brother who's always just behind the scenes, and he's
Yeah.
the one that's really drives the Wayans ship. And he's always behind every one of their projects, which is just great. But yeah, I like how they include the dancing. Like, in a movie like, say, White Chicks, the dancing kind of feels tacked on there because they want to show them dancing and they just want to have fun, which is good because it's a comedy. But
it's part of that slapstick.
In this movie, but the dancing in White Chicks doesn't play for comedy. It's just kind of like, here it is. The comedy comes from there.
It's movement comedy.
This plays for comedy and enhances his character and kind of helps their relationship build. This actually serves a purpose as well as being comedic.
Yeah, it serves more of a purpose. I wouldn't say that one in White Chicks isn't comedic.
It's not play. I don't think it's played for pure comedy.
Sure, it's comedy. It just doesn't have the depth of the reasoning as this does.
I don't think it's as overtly comedic. I think it's more in White Chicks, more like it's funny because they're women. But
Terry Crews doesn't have a top on and he has glow sticks.
But he's not in that dance sequence. He's just in the scene later. But like I'm talking about when they have a dance off.
Yeah.
It only serves as a purpose to show that they are humiliating the future antagonists of the movie. It's not played necessarily for comedy. It's more played like they're dancing. The actual dancing isn't played for comedy. It's more like, shit, they can dance. Well, in this movie, you can go, shit, he can dance, but also it's funny because his character, you didn't expect him to dance like this.
See,
and in the full outfit.
I always took the dance off as comedy in White Chicks because they're doing traditional African American dancing.
Yeah, against white chicks.
In white.
I guess.
Whiteface.
Whiteface.
I guess.
Yeah. Okay.
I understand that.
Yeah.
I just think this was more overtly comedic and also serves the character and story.
It serves the character and story a lot more.
Didn't you find it funny?
No.
Really?
No.
Come on. Bartek, what about you?
Did
you find some humor in watching Damon Wayans just show all of his great 1970s and 80s dance skills?
Most of it's just his face.
It's his whole body.
Yeah, it was unexpected. It was like, oh, this guy's military. He probably doesn't know anything more than like military marching and the singing that he does. But then all of a sudden he knows the robot and this kind of moonwalk.
He does the moonwalk forwards.
Yeah, that's innovative.
I don't see
that. He does do a few Michael Jackson moves.
I like watching the crowd clap. Once you draw attention to the crowd,
he does the Earth
hard
Song
not to
thing.
watch them.
No. It's good to pay attention to that because that's actually good because at the beginning they weren't paying attention to him, but as the scene goes on, now they're all enthralled by him.
Yeah, because I would be too with those moves.
And I noticed that
But
later.
they are good moves.
And later on, you see Tiger do some of the moves when they do the performance.
Exactly. It shows, but that, I think, in the dance sequence at the end, that's more of utilizing that one character's skill in the platoon that does love dancing.
Yeah. Well, that's what I thought at the end. They were going to leverage off him more. But
no, he is not in the platoon dancing.
Yeah,
but
that's what I mean.
Yeah, he's the one who does the choreography for it, which is neat. But it's like, at the end, he utilizes these kids' skills or assets or personalities. He learns to adapt and accept, which is great.
I like to think he helps them realize their potential. I think that's the overarching message of this movie.
And they help him realize his.
Yeah.
Because
that he's actually a caring person. I reckon she helps him realize that.
I think it's Steve Martin here, and her.
Stephen Martini, right?
And her as well. It's both of them, and of course Tiger. Tiger gives him the heart that he much needs because kids
he's
do that.
He's really the force for him to stay. Is majority Tiger and whatever her name is, whose name I've forgotten.
Yeah,
Hottie McCotty.
Hottie McCotty.
Honestly, I think the reason he stays is mainly for her.
Yeah. But he does drop the hint when he goes to leave. He goes, "Did you think I was going to stay and that we were going to adopt Tiger?" So
and then
there's obviously a reference that Tiger's part of that.
Oh yeah, of course.
And in the dream sequence, Tiger's there.
Oh yeah, definitely. Maybe I like you.
Maybe I like you.
Maybe I like you a lot. Now,
just maybe.
Apparently, this movie has him rhyming like 10 times, and it gives you a list of all the times he rhymes, and that's
on
the last
IMDb
one.
Trivia,
that's the last one.
Maybe, baby.
That's the last rhyme of the movie.
I believe they said nursery rhyme, so I don't know what nursery rhyme "Don't push the maybe babies" from.
That famous nursery rhyme.
The hand that rocked
the title. Don't push the maybe,
the
baby.
The hand that rocked the cradle. Probably.
Or maybe it's reversed. Maybe it's don't push the baby, maybe.
What was that, sorry?
There's a lot more kids at this school.
No.
It's a much bigger military
they're just
following at this
older
school.
kids, while their kids are all
There's
different
like
ages.
3 to every kid.
Yeah, but it's the whole
my kind of party.
school. It's the whole school, I think.
They're all in military uniform.
Well,
But
if,
they're
if
military
Tiger went to them,
school.
they'd be fine.
They're a military school, that's the difference. Like, they're a school that does the military program, but as a whole, they're not a military school that they go to, because you see all the other children
Yeah.
who, they're the green boys.
Oh, that's right. Military school is a thing in America, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a big plot point in Malcolm in the Middle.
Yeah, I feel like it's
Yeah,
been a plot point in
Francis.
a lot of things, like threatening to send them to military school. Or something.
Dude, I've never seen military school be the funniest shit outside of Malcolm in the Middle. They do so much shit at that school. Oh, poor Spangler.
Damn, that's a pristine white jacket.
Right.
Because he's a military man.
What? Since when?
But he keeps everything pristine and clean.
Do you not see his scuba medal?
He does. He does apparently all this
Again,
stuff.
2 of them show that he's a very high-level Marine.
I don't think it's on I don't know if it's on this one.
I don't know either,
I think
but
they
this
said
is the one that
patches.
has the most.
I think they said patches and not like badges.
Yeah, I guess.
Damn, that's a good outfit. I've never seen only in this type of outfit do white shoes work, like white formal shoes.
White Goodman with his shiny white.
Yeah, like only in this outfit.
I'm white.
I'm white.
I'm a white.
WHIT.
Thank God we got the white people to talk about this movie.
Yeah.
So
We haven't established that. I mean, we're Polish, so... Yeah.
yeah, sorry, yeah, Ian's black.
That's true.
Well, Johnson, like Magic Johnson.
Yeah.
The AIDS and all. Yeah. He's still alive, so it's okay. Yeah, this movie takes a lot of interesting twists and turns. Now, outside of Major Payne,
I must have blinked during the scene with the bullet.
oh, from
It's
his
a
heart.
really nice
Yeah.
scene.
It's-
It's actually
I
really
must have
nice.
missed this bullet. I don't remember the bullet.
So
when I
he
watched
got it from his own heart
Yeah.
And
He's left.
Took it at himself with
with a field knife. This is so good because it's so in character for him to literally give her a bullet from his heart, but it's also genuinely sweet. This is a genuinely sweet relationship that they've built. And when he's a dick to her, you do feel the genuine pain of him being like that. Also, like at the end, she's sitting on the porch or something, and she's reading a military book. So they kind of learn from each other.
And he lets her blow the whistle.
And lets her blow the whistle.
Yeah,
and,
he does, and also he lets her touch his whistle.
Yeah, and he told her to get her titty out of his mouth and stop babying him, which is the best line delivery.
I don't call it babying. I
I
call it nurturing.
and I call it neutering.
Yeah, that was definitely one of the more adult jokes. Is just saying the word
It's just
titty.
But also the conversation was very adult.
Yeah.
So it's not just the scenes built around him saying titty. It's moving the
It's a
plot
conversation
and
about duty of care.
and the conflict of interests between the two of their
I
methods.
love how much you guys look into this movie.
Because it's there.
Yeah. Some things.
Come
yeah.
on, think about this. You guys have mentioned just earlier in the episode that there are some real bad movies that you guys have reviewed
We've
on the
done
show.
far worse than this. Yes.
And that's the thing, like, I feel like sometimes movies like this, like, you know, aren't getting looked into enough because you can just go, oh, it's a silly
yeah.
movie for kids. And then
You could call it unappreciated.
Yeah, it's an unappreciated masterpiece. Like, I feel like this
Don't
has...
push it.
Masterpiece is stretching.
It's a comedic
I think
masterpiece.
that adjective and noun works. We should name the show like that.
Yeah.
we
yeah.
should.
This is the first episode, actually, guys.
Welcome. So, other than Major Payne, who was a character that you really liked?
From this movie.
Yeah.
From any movie.
Oh, you.
No, from this movie.
Like Snowflake Bitch from Frozen.
Yes.
Or whatever you said.
Remember?
I like Tiger because he humanizes him
yeah.
He's a
towards
cute
the
kid.
end. He is the force that changes him, and it
And
makes the movie what it is.
the whole, you know, being little problem.
Yeah.
I felt that. You felt that as a kid at some point. Like, you're too little,
Yeah,
too
everyone's
young.
been little at some point in their lives.
Some
But
of us
felt
are
that-
still
Some of
little.
us are still battling that.
Yeah, I was a year younger than you guys in school, and I felt little.
You were fucking taller than me.
Was it? Oh, yeah. Like,
Still
Everyone's
are.
taller than me.
Everyone's told that.
Ian's still waiting for his
Can I-
growth spurt.
Yeah. It's
Michael
coming.
Michael Ironside, everyone. We all know him as Guy from Total Recall,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Who gets his arms
He's got
brutally ripped from his body.
Yeah.
And what actually? Total Recall. Can we just stay on that for a bit?
No.
The greatest scene from Total Recall.
Yeah, you go.
Anybody?
Well, I want
There's
to hear
only
it
one
from
good
you.
answer.
I want to hear it from you.
When they see him at the like, I guess, customs
When he's the woman.
when he's a woman.
Okay, good.
It's Quaid.
Good choice. I personally, for me, I like the whole sequence where the the psychologist comes in to try and convince him he's in a dream.
Yeah.
And he sweats. That literally makes you sweat as well, watching that scene because it's so intense, and you're like,
Yeah, but-
oh my god. And Sharon Stone's in the movie.
Yeah,
so,
but I have 2 words for you. 2 weeks.
Yeah.
2 weeks.
But Michael Ironside, he appears in one scene in this movie in his second build. But did you guys know that according to his name on IMDb, he is a
Hit
lieutenant?
that buy again. Did you see that? The subtitle said, "If you hit that buy again,
Bye.
B-U-Y instead of boy."
But according to the thing, he's a lieutenant colonel. So he's because he used to be in the military. The guy says stepson says that. So he had the position that Major Payne wanted. But this is not in the movie. This is just his character's name in the credits and IMDb. So I don't know what that adds, but it adds some nuance.
Yeah.
Like maybe
Well, they
this
probably
guy
didn't.
got chewed out like he did in the past, because it kind of shows you that the military in this universe and maybe in the real world, they will just use you and throw you away and then
really-
pick you back up again.
It doesn't display the military in a nice light, which
Yeah.
I
But the
kind of-
military love this movie.
It's interesting, hey?
It is. Like, I think it's an interesting dichotomy that they're playing with.
Mm.
Think about this. A
The
kid's
military
movie.
are proud of the assholes they are.
The
if we know
kids'
anything.
movies wouldn't do this. Normal
No.
kids' movies, even back then, this is really going against certain kind of things, making statements. This whole scene with Michael Ironside, how intense is that scene? Like,
It's the turning point for this movie.
one of many.
Hmm.
But other than Major Payne, you liked you said Tiger.
Mm-hmm.
What about you, Bartek?
I quite liked Stephen Martini because he had a really distinguishable character arc.
He did. He was a '90s
Was it
dickhead
was
who
it too
became.
obvious though?
I don't.
Was
think
it just
so.
like so played out and just like here's the
Yeah.
he's late. He's already pointed out from his
He's
first
wearing a tie-dye
entrance.
shirt?
He's already the outcast. He's already the guy that has the most change. Of
And
course,
he
it's going to
nailed
happen.
it.
Exactly.
And he nailed it.
What's
He-
he
He
very
became-
much there's a similar character. It's a similar movie,
Venom.
but with baseball.
Basketball?
No.
Is it the one with Rick Moranis?
Angels in the outfield.
I feel like it
No.
is like a
No,
sports.
is it
There's
the
a-
one with Ed O'Neill?
It's very much like a lot of the '90s.
It's like a sports,
movies.
like a sports film
Sandlot
character.
kids?
Yeah.
Wait,
no,
is it Charlie Sheen? Is Little Big League?
that's probably the one. I'm thinking.
I said the Sandlot.
There's
Kids.
a lot of like baseball. There's a couple of baseball movies like that.
It was
that
Big
are-
League.
Maybe.
Uh-huh.
Oh,
I
God,
can't.
I don't know. They're
Do you
all the
remember that
same.
Either way.
movie? Do you remember that movie with Ben Stiller at the fat kids camp trying to make kids lose
Oh,
weight?
yeah.
Oh man, I can't wait to cover that on the show. People have forgotten that movie. And
It's
Ben
called
Stiller,
Fat Camp, I think.
and Ben Stiller's playing his character from Dodgeball, but like 10 years earlier, and he's super fit. So,
Totally different. Yeah.
Dodgeball.
WHIT.
But yeah.
Second time this
Second
episode.
time this episode.
But what about you, Ian? You're hesitant.
I
Other than
am,
Major
'cause
Payne-
I've actually been thinking really hard about what characters I actually like in this movie.
Well, we have William
Heathcote.
Hickey as Dr. Williams, the principal, who's into bugs.
Yeah, I
He's
didn't
pretty
like
great.
Him
Oh, he's such a great
Heathcote.
character
just
actor.
the lack of
Did the deaf guy?
necessity.
Did the deaf guy ever say anything that you didn't like?
Yeah, exactly.
So am I picking one that I like or one that I did not
I
like?
think, I think he might have like one line in it.
Yeah, he
And I
said,
don't think it's even him. I think it's
so
ADR.
sure.
Look, Tiger's not bad because he's got that very human element, relatable element.
That's so Raven.
And his reaction shots.
Yeah, that's so Raven.
um,
What about her?
but no, I don't like her.
What's wrong with
She's
her?
all,
There's
she's
nothing wrong with her. She just doesn't really do it. She's very.
She made me feel
a
things
lot
when
of
I was
the
younger.
problem I have
Me too.
really.
Still does. She's
Emo-
pretty hot.
She's very, very hot.
She's very emotional.
The problem I have with the characters in this movie, a lot of them are just kind of very
tropey.
cliche. Yeah, very tropey, cliche kind of.
That's the 90s, though. It was 1995, Ian.
Yeah, and it's not.
Give it a break.
It's not trying to be a fucking Oscar-nominated movie. It's just.
Even though I think he should have got
trying
a
to
nomination
rehash.
for his performance.
Yeah, it really is a
MTV
character
Movie
film
Awards.
with the main character.
It's a character
Yeah.
film, yeah. But as a film, this is just. It's doing what every other film at the time was doing. And I think that's probably why it was kind of overlooked. Because it is just. You know, it's a lot of like we said, it's like a lot of the sport movies that came out at the time. It's a ragtag group of nobodies
Misfits.
who get pulled together to you know, which is still an element of film today, but
Yeah,
at this point in time, a lot of films were very similar.
But you could
to
break
this.
down any film into the basic elements, and every film's a western. But you know,
Sure.
that's a film thing. Every film's a western if you break them down
I
to
like
their
to think-
basic elements.
I like to think every film was a love story.
No. Western.
Apparently, no.
Well,
Western.
Yeah, it's at this time there was a lot of films like this.
But it's about the
that
execution.
were family movies. Like a lot of them were a group of kids,
Yeah.
you know, ragtag,
But
come
then,
together.
I don't think we should discredit that, because you could also say the same about any good movie. You could go, all those Disney Renaissance movies, they're all the same.
They are.
So they're all bad, by that logic, if we want to go
I
there.
never said it was bad.
You've given the indication it's a bad movie throughout this all.
That's because it's true. But
Why?
because it doesn't do, in my opinion, enough on top of the building blocks of filmmaking,
Which are?
which are build memorable characters who are relatable towards the story, that, you know, achieves something to make the audience feel. It doesn't do enough different as well. Yes, like you said, a lot of films do have very similar elements, but the ones that do it well are the ones that build upon those elements.
Okay.
And this is very surface level.
I want to ask
the characters are very flat.
I want to ask you, what is a film like this that is good?
That is good.
Yeah.
Well, you're testing me.
Because
I don't like a lot of them.
Parent Trap.
That's not a film like this. We've done The Parent Trap, by the way, with Lindsay Lohan.
What'd you give it? Like, good review?
Oh, it was fantastic.
Well, it's this show. We talk about them like the best.
Did
film
you
ever
know
made.
the mother in The Parent Trap was the wife of Liam Neeson?
Really?
Yeah, and
The one
she's
died?
She died.
Yeah.
We discovered that in the episode. I didn't know that. But her sister has gone on
I
to be an
didn't know that
actress. Jolie Richardson, who was recently in a movie we did. I can't remember which one.
she?
Oh, 101 Dalmatians. She was the girl.
It always makes me sad when I watch Love Actually, because his story in that
Is very similar to his real life
essentially
story.
his real life story.
Man. But yeah, I don't know. I honestly think what you're saying I understand, but it's just like one of these things where I feel like the film does do enough in terms of elevating this material by the central performance, the themes, the filmmaking, and the
So-
execution of the overall plot and character of him, because I haven't seen a character like him in a movie like this.
Definitely, in terms of characters that are not one-dimensional, he's the only one.
But it's called Major Payne, so it's a character
but
movie.
Just having one character that changes doesn't necessarily save the movie, and I think
I don't
that's
know,
the
I think-
reason for a lot of the reviews.
But I think there are so many movies where it's solely relying on one character, yet there's many. American Psycho being one. You only have to rely on Christian Bale's performance in that. I mean, the story's interesting,
But that movie is also extremely different to almost any
but
other movie.
it's a character-driven movie, and it's not that different because we recently covered a movie called Vampire's Kiss with Nicolas Cage, and it has
I
pretty
know
much
it.
the exact same story. Yes, very similar. But it came out 12 years before and 3 years before the book. So if anything, American Psycho's like Vampire's Kiss.
Have you read the American Psycho novel?
I have.
Yeah, what do you think?
It's
weird.
It's like
It's very different to the movie.
it's like
even.
reading Lolita, where Lolita is one of those ones where you feel very uncomfortable being in the mind of what is basically a pedophile, and that movie in the
Yeah.
book is very uncomfortable being in this 1980s psychopath's
Yeah, 'cause
brain.
You like American Psycho is known for its like craziness of what he does to these people. The book's like even more.
Oh yeah, yeah, and the
He does
sex and the
the things
sexism's
that
even
it's
more.
like-
The sexism.
Everything's ramped up in the book.
But I'm saying, like, in terms of movies that rely on one character to drive the plot, because if you really want to go there, American Psycho has basically just your average slasher plot, but it's the execution as well as the character. You could say the same for Nightcrawler, where it's only really driven by Jake Gyllenhaal's performance, and Riz Ahmed, I'll give him some props because he was good in that too. But like, this is a movie where it's cold Major Payne, it's focusing on the central performance. There's many movies like this. There's the movie Patton, which is relying on George C.
This is
Scott's
a very-
performance.
That's my thing is like it is very standard. It's not necessarily. It's not the worst movie ever, is it? It's not.
I think it's pretty great.
It's. I wouldn't go that far.
I would say unappreciated masterpiece.
It's just very stock standard in my eyes. It's very cookie cutter, you could say. Like, it's a product of the times, which I'm not going to hold against it. There's plenty worse that came out at the time.
But aren't there those movies that are those standard cookie cutter movies that you still like?
Yeah.
But why are they liked? If they still meet this standard.
I think
It's nostalgia.
I think a lot of it for you guys obviously is nostalgia. For me, because I didn't see it when I was a kid, it's a lot harder for me to like it, and that's just because I didn't see it.
You didn't like it as a kid. The bits you saw.
I look, to be honest,
saw the wrong
I
bits.
didn't see it enough. If I had have seen the entirety of the movie as a kid, then maybe I would have liked it more. But as an adult watching it, it's difficult. But even that, like we said, a lot of the comedy is for adults, and I still didn't really necessarily find it that funny.
The engine that could, though.
Apart from that, that was good.
The finger breaking.
No.
When he shot the boogeyman.
I just, you
That
know
was
what?
pretty good.
I love that part,
That was pretty
actually.
good.
I was thinking about it just
That
then.
might be my favorite part.
It's adult comedy now, but back then kids were a bit more rugged.
Yeah.
I remember
We were tough.
Yeah, and so the comedy then was kids comedy.
Yeah.
But like you could say like breaking a finger, and a kid would find that funny because like it's a callback to the first joke where it was dark and actually
Yeah.
violent, and then it happens to the kid, and you're like, oh my god, that's like sort of scary, and it forms him as a scary character for the kid, so you can relate to the kids being scared of this Major Payne who's going to be their be all and end all, who then changes them. They respect him. It's a redemption story.
Yeah.
Now, I'll ask you, when you were a kid, were you scared of Major Payne? Because I never was. I always found him.
little.
I loved him. I thought let him keep doing what he's doing. These kids are
funny
dicks.
voice. Yeah.
I just love the performance. From when I was a small kid to now, I've always focused on performances in movies, and his performance is magnetic. It's electric, and I honestly do believe if it wasn't for the fact that the Academy looked down on comedic performances and performances in kids' media, he honestly could have got a nomination because it is such a strong leading man performance in this film. It's like I've often said John Goodman should have gotten Oscar nominated for Big Lebowski, but he never did because it was a comedic performance. Only a few do, like Kevin Kline won for Fish Called Wanda. And those are still adult comedy movies, but you never get any kind of recognition for these types. Well, I think the performance, he really went out and did it 110%. And I think everyone who's seen this movie remembers it because of his performance.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
And that's why I'm like, I can understand the cookie cutter plot and the standard elements, but it's the execution of his performance and his character that elevates it to something beyond.
I'd like to meet someone who remembers this film but doesn't remember Major Payne.
Yeah, they're like, I really remembered Steve Martini.
When I typed in, I was looking at it in Google, and one of the questions that comes up, Google questions, was, what's the main character's name in Major Payne?
Jesus.
And that's
a joke.
I guess if it's the full name.
The actual reply was like,
Benson Winifred
Major
Payne.
Payne was released at this day.
Yeah. I love
the
that.
second result is a YouTube video of Ollie just giving the full name.
Yeah.
No, it's his fingers.
10-hour loop.
This was great. I love this whole little dream sequence. And now,
I love the look she gives when he falls in the pool.
how could you?
Yeah.
It's like, he did it again.
I guess it's Saturday.
And I love his reaction. Like, what could I do? He just came out of nowhere like that. What can I do about it? And then the laughing that goes on for like, look at the little kids laugh.
Yeah.
He just keeps going as well. It's so uncomfortable how long this goes on for.
I also love how this backyard's right next to the railroads.
Well, yeah, but I love when you saw the house before that. It was this dilapidated, terrible-looking house.
Yeah.
And he sees it as beautiful.
He sees the diamond in the rough. It's a metaphor for the kids.
He
It's
always
a metaphor for this movie.
It is a diamond in the rough. Yeah. I don't know. It's one of these things. So Bartek, you think your favorite scene was him shooting the boogeyman?
I remember really loving that scene when I watched it the first time,
You
and I
know,
still love it.
I was
If
kind
you're
of
still-
horrified because I was like, what if there was a kid in there playing a prank?
Well, he
Yeah.
ain't no more.
Yeah, exactly.
I've said this a few times, but also one of the reasons why we don't have kids' movies like this. It's going to get dark, I'm going to say it. One of the reasons we don't have movies like this, and we've covered many movies that have happened in the same year that were failures. 9/11 it really changed the face of cinema in this regard. Like him shooting a real gun in a school as well, post like 9/11 and Columbine and all this kind of stuff in America. Those are the reasons why we don't have this, especially, him being a proud military man overall. Usually now, when we look at military guys in movies, they're not in the positive light necessarily.
Yeah. It's definitely become,
It's
you're
interesting
right.
how
It's become
those
less and less
big
positive
events in the world can affect the world of movies. Like, let's not forget, Zoolander was a big flop because it came out so soon after 9/11.
If Roger Ebert reviewed this film after 9/11...
That was one of the biggest controversies. Roger Ebert reviewed Zoolander and gave a negative review because it was in poor taste due to the recent events. And it's like, that's not the movie's fault.
That's alright. Donnie Darko came out with a plane crash.
And that failed too.
Yeah.
That failed too. As did many other movies. That was a graveyard for comedies as well because no one wanted them.
Yeah.
And it's like and I think it really did.
And that's why Master of Disguise failed.
That is.
That's
yeah.
why.
Yeah,
that's
but
the other reason.
That's why.
Can't wait to cover it on the show. Did you know about that in Master of Disguise?
The trivia point about... So...
When they were filming...
9/11 happened while they were filming the Turtle Club scene, so...
Oh, really?
So they had, like, that quiet moment of set, and... What's his name, the actor?
Dana
Carvey.
Dana Carvey
sorry.
was dressed up in that, big turtle outfit. He was bald.
Oh, God.
So he had to
crying
grieve,
and
he had to
stuff.
grieve like that.
Yeah. But yeah, I think...
guess he wasn't turtly enough for the Turtle Club.
There you go. But I think stuff like that, these big events also change how we look at these movies now because... We do have that thing where it's like, ooh, he's using a real gun, ooh, a real grenade, like, ooh, all this stuff. I think the world has changed so much. Like we're saying, the movie makers are taking kids' needs too sensitively in films. We don't see these edgier, kind of more raw, adult, darker kids' movies as often as we would back then. This was the stock standard, like you were saying.
Yeah.
But I
It's
miss
changed a
this. I miss this.
Yeah. I want to say, I don't think it's 9/11 for the soldiers, because I feel like pride and like national...
Oh no, the Iraq War though.
Yeah, but like people respected the military more after 9/11 because they thought they were protecting
Yeah, that's
them.
true.
I think it's the school shooting. I think it's the gun violence in
And
America.
the
that probably
disillusion
would've-
of the Iraq War.
Well, yeah, I don't think people took that into account, especially America. But like, it's only really come into light in the last few years.
I would
Like,
say,
maybe
like,
the last decade. I would say
Last
that-
decade or more. When George Bush was still in office, people were getting real disillusioned with that whole Americana patriotism.
In this film, did they ever... Because they mentioned one of the conflicts at this late part of the film is that America needs you to go to this country and...
Bosnia
deal with things.
Did he tell them that he wasn't going? Is that what you're going to ask?
Well, do we ever get information about how that all turned out?
No. Because the real important mission was seeing them win the trophy.
And clearly, at the end of the film, there's a time skip, and America's still intact.
It's 3 months later, and he refers to the woman as the kid's mum, which is interesting.
Well, they might have adopted him.
One of the possibilities
But
that
in
I
3
thought
months,
was...
they move that quick into their relationship.
One of the possibilities that I thought was he would go deal with the situation, then come to the military thing to show, like, yeah,
Oh,
I can deal with it.
really?
I just thought like it might be a gag or something, but no, they didn't go with that.
No,
You're
they
saying
went-
he's that good. Goes over because he's meant to go to Washington, then Bosnia, and
Yeah.
if he can get to Washington, Bosnia, and back in a day, boy.
And we're all laughing.
No,
It's like, I need
Boy.
to save time, just
In
runs along the
a
water.
morning. He does it all in one morning because he's catching the train in the morning.
Takes
He
the
has
train
to be
to
back.
Bosnia.
Yes,
Use one of those fast forward sequences, runs across the water, shoots some people, and runs back. Ta-da!
With talking about Damon Wayans a lot, are we, what do we feel about the Wayans in general? Because nowadays they kind of have this like
They've fizzled a bit.
they have this kind of people scoff and go, oh, they're those guys who do those movies, like
Yeah.
50 Shades of Black
Yeah.
If you have,
and Little Man,
if you
Little,
have,
little. There isn't ittle, it's just little.
Little.
Little Man.
Little.
I think if you have a strength You play to it. They know their strengths. They make money off what they do well.
Do they make more money?
More money, more problems.
But I find it interesting. He was the most popular one, Damon Wayans. And after My Wife and Kids, he just said, "That's it. I'm done. I've done what I needed."
Old.
Yeah, but still, being an older black comedian or an older comedian, you can still have a talent, especially when you've got one of the biggest shows on TV. I find it interesting that he really has retired.
I wouldn't call My Wife and Kids one of the biggest shows on TV. It
At the
had like a
time-
6:30 time slot and then moved straight to like
And it
4:30,
had like
and then it's
10
gone.
seasons.
Yeah,
I
but
think they did
never
do
in
it-
prime time.
I think they did a
In
comeback
America,
season
though.
as well.
But in America, we're saying this as Australians, but in America,
And not part of a big dynasty.
and not part of a big dynasty, but it was a big show. One of the most popular in the early 2000s, where sitcoms were like going
think-
past that golden age
yeah.
where Seinfeld had finished, and you had shows like Will and Grace were the big things, and Friends was finishing. So yeah, you know,
It was definitely one of the more popular shows.
yeah.
I think the problem is, and unfortunately for them, is I think that their comedy didn't keep up with comedy changing. Like,
Oh, yeah.
their comedy is now still 90s
Yeah.
comedy, and it just doesn't.
Age well.
It hasn't kept up with what comedy is now.
Which I think maybe Damon realized.
I think
Because
maybe he did, yeah.
he stopped after My Wife and Kids, which was 10 or so years ago now when that finished. And he has only 26 things to his acting credit, which is relatively small for someone who's quite well known. I don't know, I knew him pretty well. Bartek, I imagine you probably didn't know Damon Wayans?
I wasn't as familiar with the whole Wayans family thing. I'd definitely seen White Chicks before.
Comedy classic.
But it was only like way down the line that I'd heard about, the Wayans family. Like, oh, that was a Wayans film. So.
Yeah.
And then, I heard all of the like more recent ones get trashed for being those kind of films. So when I did hear that, oh, this is an earlier Wayans film, I did think like, oh, is that why it wasn't popular? But no, I watched and I realized, oh, they actually were, more, I guess, more popular earlier on.
Yeah. I mean, Damon Wayans is actually on TV now. He's in the Lethal Weapon TV show that they're doing.
Yeah, true.
Ugh,
Apparently it's well received, so
I forgot that was even happening.
I didn't know.
thing
It's
is,
been on
when
for
I
like
saw-
2-3 seasons, so
I don't think it does that well. But the funny thing is, when I saw originally when that was coming out, is I went, oh, Damon Wayans, that'll be really good. And I saw the other guy who's playing essentially Mel Gibson's character.
and it's
And I
Mel
was like,
Gibson.
and I was like, that guy is not as good.
who would you have paired up?
Oh, God knows who, but like
Steve Martin.
It's hard when you put
Martini.
when you put someone
Stephen
that
Martini.
once had such a he was, like you said, really well known, and then you put him in a TV show with a nobody. It's kind of like
Look who's back.
it's hard because
Oh,
people that remember him go, he's too good for this. But the people nowadays are going, who the hell is this?
Yeah.
But at the same time, that happens with a lot of American sitcoms where they get
Yeah.
a big name. I mean,
yeah,
think-
he was a crowd.
I mean,
drawer.
we think about like a show like Community, where most of those people, for most people, didn't know who any of them were except for Chevy Chase.
Yeah.
And you could have said, well, why is Chevy Chase in this low, he deserves bigger stars next to him. But when you actually think about it, maybe, I don't know who that guy in Lethal Weapon, I haven't looked, but I'm sure if you look him up, he's probably been around doing the rounds.
I'm sure he's done things. They wouldn't just throw him in from the street.
Sometimes they do.
But some of the difference is that
Damon Wayans is a comedy legend.
Community did well.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, but I'm saying, like, the Lethal Weapon show is doing
Not good.
consistently well, considering
I don't
it's
think
still
it is.
running.
Is it?
Yeah, it's coming up to its 3rd season, I think.
Hey,
I'm not a-
Supernatural is still running.
Yes. Yeah.
Sure,
can't-
that means it is successful in some regards.
Doesn't mean it's good. That's like saying Harvey Weinstein's good. He's successful. But
Topical.
Yeah.
Yeah, dig yourself out of that.
I don't know. It's one of these things where it's just like, well, it must have some success, meaning some
Yeah.
quality in it.
There's an audience there for sure.
Yeah, exactly, and maybe we're not it. I mean, have you checked it out?
I unfortunately have seen some of it, and it's not good.
I don't know. Damon Wayans is in it, so it
Damon
must be
Wayans
pretty
is
good.
gotta be good.
He is a blind boy, and he's
Blind seeing eye dog.
He's German
Why do I want the
Shepherd.
blind dog?
You see, he can remember now, but earlier he was like, he's deaf. And we're like, no, the blind kid at the end. Come on.
Ace Venture.
I'll be honest, you know what I forgot? I forgot he had the teeth.
Really?
So you noticed his tiny patch
No. What
of
I'm
facial
saying.
hair.
No, I said when I first watched this last night. It's been like 10 years. I forgot that he had the metal teeth, the gold teeth, and when I watched it last night, I noticed for the first time he had the patch under his chin. So yeah. I just never noticed it. I never remembered it as a kid as something like all the scars on his face. I never remembered those. I just remembered his outfits and his moustache.
The hat really
Yeah.
sticks out to me.
Oh no, here it
I
comes.
hate this wipe. Ugh,
It's not a
such
wipe, it's a
stock
spin.
wipe.
But he did it to the dog too. A poor German Shepherd.
And then
Too
how
bad
do you
we
end
don't
up-
like
how
the
do you end
Germans.
film, Ryan?
With maniacal laughter where he goes through every single laugh he has.
This sequence alone
Oscar?
screams Nickelodeon to me for some reason.
Nah.
Right?
it
Like
screams-
I see
extreme
it.
close up
It
with corny,
screams-
I see
crappy
it.
laughter joke too.
No. The laughter is insane and it still goes through the credits. That's the best. Like, it's absolutely insane laughter. Not like kooky, crazy, haha. It's like, oh no, he's demented.
Yeah, I don't understand the billing in these credits. They're just so
Alphabetical?
random, right?
Alphabetical.
Are they? Oh, the character names?
Maybe.
No, none of this is
No.
alphabetical.
No,
I don't know.
it's not
But the
alphabetical.
movie
Like the
has-
biker was
Is
third
it in
build.
order of appearance?
No.
No, because the biker was third build.
Yeah.
And his name was Bam
It's
Bam.
literally
Bam.
random.
It was nickname.
Well, the movie has unfortunately ended, which is a real tragedy. This movie had so many things going for it. We've debated, we've talked about the nuances. I and Bartek and myself noticed lots of things that were in the movie, which is good because they're put there for a reason. I think it's time for us to give our reviews and ratings. Bartek, I'd love to hear from you first.
I thought that this film was great. I thought that, even if it did play to a formula that we've seen before, it nailed it well. I like that they had a crazy character that, did go through a change and did change others, but the change didn't really alter who he was at the central core, which it's a bit redundant, but let's go with it. Since we have 4 people, I'll just stop it right there. I noticed that in the dance sequence there, the subtitles were they indicated they were singing by having like a little pound symbol, which we also call a hashtag. And at one point they said pound symbol Go Tiger. So I give this film a hashtag Go Tiger out of a stupid snowflake
If you
bitch.
check now, that's trending.
Hashtag go
And
tiger.
Tiger Woods is like, what?
Kids saw my name.
I'm back.
He's back. He's been back the whole time. Ian, what about you?
Look, it does what it does, and it doesn't necessarily do it the worst in the world. I won't be too harsh on it.
You are, though.
Please, Ian.
I'm harsh on it, but I'm not. Look, I think I'm being generous when I say I give it a solid 2 out of 3 Waynes.
Which Waynes, though?
Exactly.
It's up to interpretation.
There's
Interpretation.
like 15 of them, too.
Yeah, but only 3.
Only 3 matter.
Well, this
Yeah.
film did have 2
Well-
Wayans, so...
I do love the fact that Damon Wayans Jr. has an acting career.
Yeah.
He's the guy in New Girl, the only interesting character.
One of the best things about the Waynes is they just keep coming.
No, it is actually one of those things where it's like, the more of them that you get, it's actually like good, even if they last like 5 years. It's like, at least with, I want to say Marlon, he was in Requiem for a Dream and he showed that he could act. And you're
Yeah.
like, oh, I didn't know that they could do serious
I
acting.
didn't know they could talk.
Alright, next one up.
Like I said, I love this movie. I suggested it. This is my suggestion, and I'm sorry / welcome for this suggestion.
No need to be sorry.
I thank you.
I
But
thank you.
I'm gonna give it 7 turd sandwiches out of 11.
It's a lot of turd in it.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
So, up to me now.
If
Well-
we do the fractions, I think Ian gave it a higher score than you did.
yeah.
That's a good point. Ian loved this movie.
Hashtag Ian loves movies.
Hashtag good.
So, this movie really struck a chord with me as a kid, and growing up watching it again, it really struck a chord in a different way, but I still had those, those ones from the past dredging up. But here's the thing. I realized when watching this movie last night, there were so many things I had forgotten, and it made me feel really sad. I don't know if you guys have ever had this, but there are those movies that you held really dear to your heart as a kid, or growing up, or even when you're a teen, and then they just kind of fade away. And you...
That's self-respect.
No, I
Mine
think...
left a long time ago.
Don't you ever feel sad? Don't you ever feel sad when and then you rewatch them and you're like, why did I ever let this one fade away? I should have had this one more in my life.
That's more of a happy thing, because there are so many things that you would look at in life and go, wow, I wish I could experience that for the first time again. And that's not quite the same thing.
I get more sad because I'm very proud of how much I can remember about all these things. And when I watched this, I did have this twinge of sadness of going, I'm getting old. I haven't watched this in so long, and I don't know why. This movie grows on you. It's a grower.
Not a show.
It shows you how good it is, Ian. If I had to give this movie a rating, which is really hard because there's so many references we could make to the movie itself, but if I had to give this movie the proper rating it really does deserve,
Yeah.
I'm going to have to grab my gun out for this one, guys. I'm going to have to walk into the other room and shoot the cupboard because there is a boogeyman in there that's saying that this film isn't good. So I give this Killing the Boogeyman out of pride. There you go.
Kill the boogeyman out of pride.
Now, Bartek has amassed from the internet, IMDb, specifically, some reviews.
Yes,
We're
I
going to
did.
read one, except for myself. I have something in mind.
Yeah, the mystery Ryan.
The Mystery Box, starring Ryan reading
Oh,
something.
dude, just shit, we're doing an episode? We haven't watched the film. Alright, so the first review I found, I'll read the longest one.
Great.
It is called Awful on Every Level.
Ian.
By Ian.
It is from the 2nd of September 2003, and there is no rating. But
Typical Ian.
But we kind of...
Typical.
My friend and I were flicking through the channels on the TV when this popped up. For a while, we simply sat there in open-mouthed disbelief. What was this film about? Why did one of the kids, in brackets, look about 30? Just what in this amazing and expanding universe had we come across? Somehow...
This person already sounds super high.
Yeah.
Ian.
Potentially.
Don't
And
do
that actually did
shrooms.
throw me off, like, when I watched this movie. It's like, why are they all such drastically... One of the kids is, like, 3, and then one of them's, like, 23.
It's because they're all amassed from all different year levels.
One of them looks like, they should not be in school.
Yeah.
It's weird because the actor was only 20, so...
Really?
It's actually an orphanage. I just solved the whole thing.
Solved
Well,
it.
they do
Tiger was 20.
They do accept orphans,
Yeah.
so...
Let's see, where was I? Somehow the relentless awfulness of this film sucked us in. We were like deer trapped in the headlights. As the film got progressive worse, we became increasingly captivated by its cinematic campaign of shock and awe. How could anyone make a film so bad? Films are expensive. Somebody paid for this. The money could have been better spent on a hospital for the treatment of anyone who found any of this dirge remotely funny.
Oh, God.
Yet we were trapped. We had to watch this to the bitter end, even though we knew exactly how it was going to end. This ragtag bunch of no-hopers were gonna end up on top, and what was gonna help M get there? Why hip-hop, of course. Yes, this is one of those films written by old white guys.
No, they were
not
black!
No, Ryan, this is one of those films written by old white guys who think that the way to tap into the youth market is to feature scenes in which black characters learn through the medium of dance and rap.
It was the early 90s when hip-hop was really popular, you fuck! Ian!
You know.
You were there!
Mid-90s.
But
you
when
know.
it was written...
You know, the usual movie cliches. Black street kid... this is...
When was there Black Street Kid?
No, just to be clear, this is them, like, saying character, colon, and then dialogue.
Oh,
okay.
Right. Black street kid. Hamlet sucks. Teacher. Hey kids, why not set the story to rap music?
Oh, this is 30 Rock.
Yeah.
Street kid, yo, Hamlet's cool. In this movie, the kids perform their drill routine to some funky music and incorporate a sort of kicking move, which is more reminiscent of the kind of dancing dads do at the weddings than hip street dance. Watch out for the extra badly.
Yeah.
I don't think so.
Watch out for the extra badly dancing in the. And for some reason they start a new paragraph, but I don't finish the sentence.
Finished it. That was walked
We're
off.
running out of energy.
No, the sentence continues, but it's in a new paragraph. Watch out for the extras dancing badly in the new paragraph background. Apart from the extras dancing badly in the club scene, it's the only thing in the movie that is actually funny, though not
They
deliberately.
point out the same things as me.
Because you wrote this
They've
here.
tapped into my brain.
Though not deliberately funny, of course. When the movie was over, I turned to my friend and said, "Did I really just watch that, or was I hallucinating?" Sadly, this film really was made. I will never understand why.
That's a beautiful review. Thank you very much, Bartek, for enlightening me to that review, because I never would have read that.
But it's okay.
God.
I would have gotten halfway
Ian's
through and just
given
gone,
the responsibility of reading one of them.
This
Tell
could,
us.
This could go badly.
It's okay. Use your
I
acting.
wrote the last one, so this is what I'm reading.
This is written by me, I guess.
Okay. I'm guessing that's the title of it because it's in bold.
The bold and underlined is titled
Yeah.
when it came out and the rating.
Okay, well, it's Damon Wayans is da bomb! Exclamation marks. There's like 20 exclamation
Yeah,
marks.
I was meant to count them. I forgot how many. But that's exactly how many they put.
18th of May, 2002. So, you know,
Right after 9/11.
right after, just before 9/11.
2002! Right before.
9/11 was 2001, Ian.
Fuck.
You know, it's all just a distant blur to me.
We're all kids.
Yeah.
Inside job, yeah.
Vaguely remember it. All right.
Wow.
Major Payne is one of the funniest movies in the Hollywood community. I thought that Damon Wayans delivered a knockout performance as the loudmouth, gold-toothed, trash-talking, squeaky-voiced Major Benson Winifred Payne. He was so funny that I nearly had a heart attack while laughing at the
Jesus
same
fucking
time.
Christ. Maybe this person's high.
Yeah, exactly. After a major drug bust goes extremely well in South America, Major Payne, in brackets Damon Wayans, returns to Paris Island, South Carolina, and finds out that the U.S. Marine Corps is throwing him out of the military back into civilian life. This is just a synopsis of the film. This isn't a review.
They've missed so much.
The breaking finger moment.
Hang on. After 2 weeks of civilian life, Payne is let back into the military under one condition: go to Virginia and train a group of delinquents for ROTC.
Delinquents.
They forgot that he assaulted a civilian.
Delinquents, they're called.
Yeah,
Jesus.
delinquents for a ROTC program at Madison Academy. Payne regretfully accepts the
They're
job.
not at Madison Academy. Oh,
Yeah,
no, they are.
Yeah.
Payne regretfully accepts the job and puts each of the boys into 8 weeks of living hell! Exclamation mark. This guy really likes exclamation marks. It becomes a fight because the boys do what they can to put Major Payne out of their lives! Exclamation mark. Damon Wayans, in brackets, my wife and kids, comma, blank man.
Yeah, Blank
Man.
One of the first black superhero movies, yeah.
Yep, never seen it. I
It's
don't
actually
plan to.
it's actually really good.
Don't
You should
worry
check it
about
out.
it.
Is this really good? This movie we just saw, Major Payne?
Yeah, it's pretty
So
good.
Blankman's not good.
Racist.
Anyway, Damon Wayans stars in the hilarious raunchy teen comedy that will leave you.
There we go.
There we
See,
go.
We were judging it wrong. We were saying family or kids.
Yeah.
It's a raunchy,
Raunchy
teen,
teen
comedy.
comedy.
It's like
Yeah.
American
With
Pie.
delinquents.
We were
It
way
has,
off.
it has a cast member from American Pie, so yeah.
I reckon it was about 10 years off showing boobs.
Yeah.
Like Porkies.
That will leave you breathless by the end because you'll be laughing your $$ off! Exclamation
Money,
mark.
money.
Trust me! Exclamation mark. Five
You should be
exclamation
yelling
marks.
all of this.
And then in capitals, exclamation
A
mark.
lot of it is. And
All
we scroll to the next page. There's the last review.
I'll let you do
right.
it. I'm not familiar with this kind of technology.
That's fine. You press down and it
Computers.
scrolls down.
He's got a computer.
What is
Pass
this?
it
This
to
is the last
the.
one.
Pass it to our legend.
Okay. Oh, this is already going to a very, very solid start.
Tell us.
It's the title is Payne in the ... I'm gonna say it was meant to be a $.
$8.
It's 27th of December 2002, so just before 9/11, and it gave it no rating. So
Wait, did you say 27th of September?
December,
December. Okay.
just before 9/11, Bartek.
Just before September 11th.
Yes.
So here we go. I don't know who I'm more disappointed in, the critics or the regular movie-going public. You people laughed at this crap? Question mark, question mark, question mark, question mark, question mark, question mark. This is one of the more juvenile and migraine-inspiring comedies of all
I
time.
believe it said migraine
Yes, it
or
says.
migraine or something.
Migraine. Yeah, no accents, but I mean, it's copy-paste. Firing shots into a closet to kill a boogeyman? Question mark, question mark, question mark. A goofy voice makes you funny? Question mark, question mark, question mark. Shaving a blind boy and his seeing eye dog? Question mark, question mark, question mark. Oh, and the knee slapper no empty screenplay would be without ... Farts. 4 exclamation marks.
There's one.
Whee! Exclamation mark, exclamation mark. I'm definitely reading this with the sarcasm it was intended. I must be a cynic, I guess, if I'm not laughing from any of those ingenious moments. I had to save this one for last, though. The blatant, so cutesy, it's puke-inducing stripes rip, where the kids dance in unison as they bark military jargon. I didn't laugh when Bill Murray and co did it. And I rolled my eyes and gave this one an "oh, please" as well. Here, look how hard we try to be cool and smooth by bouncing around, straying from the formalities of a serious system to force some laughs from the crowd. And I swear to you, I called it when I barked, "and watch way and smile when they're through." And sure enough, his mouth slants in pride of his boys.
It's a weird smile, though. So
Please, Lord, make it stop.
Okay.
It did, including any horrific signal of the apocalypse with the avoiding of a sequel.
Wow.
Jesus.
They were still waiting for a sequel in 2002.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Still could come.
Ugh.
That's so predictable. He
So-
smiled.
Before we
I'm
finish,
going to guess that Damon Wayans, in his acting job in the titular role of this film, shows some emotion.
So, boys,
How dare
Any sort of emotion.
I have an email. We finally got an email.
Oh.
Oh my god.
But before that, you guys, Shake and Not Nerd.
Yes.
How do people contact or find you guys?
They can give us a call. Ian, what's your mobile number? 1, 2, 3, 4. Fuck you.
Fake Street.
No, we are on all the relevant social media platforms. You can find us on Spotify, Apple, iTunes, Podcasts, Podbean.
What's your
all of
Twitter
them.
handle?
Just at Shaken.
Shake and Not Nerd, all one word.
Oh, good.
Is that
Just
Twitter? Is that not
That's
Shaken
Twitter.
underscore not underscore nerd?
No, that's
underscore pod?
Instagram.
That's
Oh,
Instagram.
you have Instagram? We haven't
Yeah.
even bothered with
You're
that.
doing right.
Yeah.
Do you have a MySpace?
We don't.
We
Well, you
should.
haven't got on all of them.
All the relevant social media
Guys,
platforms, please, Ryan.
I have
please.
a really relevant email. Our first ever email that we've gotten in the 3 years of doing this.
Wow.
It is from a Mrs. Vivian Norman.
Oh, she owes me money.
Good.
Yeah.
Oh, that bit.
Vivian Normand, if you're out there listening, pay up.
Its title is called, My Dear, I Need Your Help, Please.
Please tell me this is a scam email. Please.
Is this someone's mum?
Is this...
Is this?
This is completely irrelevant, isn't it? I'm
Are they gonna
calling this
ask-
now.
I have no idea, but I'm on the edge of my seat.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because it might be for me. I don't know.
My dear, please, I need your help.
Let's place bets now. I've got like an infinite amount of invisible fake money that they ask for money at the end of this.
I'm going to say
Okay, good.
asylum. Seeking asylum.
Seeking asylum.
Okay, and Bartek thinks it's legitimately for him. Not me.
No, I said it could be.
No, because it's open with, my dear, please help me.
I could be that. Why does he think
Look at
it's
him, though. Look
No,
at him.
I'm saying I'm on the edge of my seat because it could be for me.
Okay.
Hell, it could be for me
It
at this
starts-
stage.
It starts in a real sweet manner. God.
Fuck
it
me,
ex-
daddy.
It is for me.
Okay. Greetings in the name of God. I hope you are doing well. That's a question. My dear, I sent this email praying it would found you in good condition of health, since I myself are in a very critical health condition in which I sleep every night without knowing if I may be alive to see the next day.
What's the name?
To see the next day.
Vivian
Norman.
Normand? I do that too.
Norman.
Vivian Norman, I sleep without knowing I'm going to wake up, but I do. I just have a bit of faith.
Faith.
Just have faith.
Knowing if I'll be alive to see the next day, I bring peace and love to you. It is by the grace of God, spelled with a lowercase g. I
Clearly not
I
for a
had
Christian
no
background.
choice than to do what is lawful and right in the sight of God, capital G now, for eternal life in the sight of man, for witness of God, lowercase g again, God's mercy and glory upon my life. I am Mrs. Vivian Norman Dixon, a widow. I am suffering from a long-time brain tumor. It has defiled all forms of medical treatment, and right now, I only have about a few months to live, according to the medical experts. This situation has gotten complicated recently with my inability to hear proper. I'm communicating with you with the help of chief nurse here in the hospital. From all indications, from all indication, my conditions is really deteriorating, and it is quite obvious that according to my doctors, they have advised me that I may not live too long. This is because I have a brain tumor.
Oh, I didn't get that.
I hope that you will not expose or betray this trust I am confident that I am about to expose to you.
I
So,
have a
guys-
brain tumor.
Guys, she's trusted us on this,
Thank
okay?
you.
Let's not exploit
Well,
this.
she's trusted Bartek.
Yeah.
So,
I have some funds inherited from my late husband, the sum of $10,500,000. That's written in numbers and then again in words.
like a check.
Having known my condition,
Only.
I decided to donate this fund to you,
Bartek.
believing that you will utilize it in the way that I'm going to instruct herein. I need you to assist me and reclaim this money and use it for charity works, for orphanage and gives justices, and help to the poorly,
Bartek,
needy and widow, says the Lord.
may I make a suggestion of how to use your newfound wealth?
And then she quotes.
do what
then she
Vivian
quotes.
Norman
Then
wants.
she quotes Jeremiah 22:15-16, and I looked that up, and it is about giving to the poor. So she really knows her shit. And also build schools for the less privileged that will be named after my late husband. This is like Finding Emo all over again, Bartek. Where in the movie we did, there's this guy that went to a Papua New Guinea village, and he's like, I want you to name the library after my dad. For some reason, he demanded this because he's a white Australian. But, possible, and to promote the word of God and the effort that the house of God is maintained. I do not want a situation where this money will be used in an ungodly manner. So, guys, we only got to use it in the sake of
Only
God.
Only God.
What's the first godly manner where you would spend this?
Probably masturbate into it like tissues.
So you would
Prostitutes.
10... What, Bartek?
God's Not Dead DVDs.
Oh, of course. The whole trilogy is out now, Bartek. That's why I'm taking this decision. I'm not afraid of death, so I know where I'm going. I accept this decision because I do not have any children who will inherit this money after I die. Please, I want your sincerely and urgent answer to know if you will be able to execute this need. Will you be able to let me transfer this to your bank account?
Bartek, do it.
May the grace, the peace, the love, and the truth in the word, spelled with a capital W, of God, spelled in lowercase g, be with you and all of those that you love and care for. I'm waiting for your immediate reply if you are only interested in further details of this transaction. May God bless you for your kind help. Yours sincerely, Mrs. Vivian Norman Dixon. So, Bartek, do you think we should give her your bank details?
Click reply and say yes, please.
Yes.
Is this from your email, Ryan?
No.
Is
This
this
is from our email.
Spit and
Okay.
polished at gmail.com?
Yeah, that's right. We have an email that you could
That's
email
a
such
nice
great
segue.
things like that. If you want to email us a suggestion, maybe say, hey, you know those Shaken.Nerd guys? You should get them back on. You
Or
know,
the other
and we-
ones.
Or
all the other
the
ones.
other ones.
Or can I make a suggestion? Send your bank details in so we can then send them off to Vivian Norman Dixon
Exactly.
in
Or-
God's name.
Do you
That's a
guys?
lowercase
I mean,
g, by
these
the
guys
way.
had a suggestion for Unappreciated Masterpiece that was just completely out of my peripheral vision. Maybe you guys have a suggestion too. You know, who knows? We're all on the social medias. You know, we're all on the same
Except
things
MySpace.
as these guys. No MySpace.
For the
No,
moment.
not LinkedIn either.
I have
I don't know.
a personal MySpace that I haven't touched.
Me
Who's
too,
your
buddy.
top friend?
It's
Sorry?
him. It's him.
Who's your
It's,
top
it's
friend?
you.
Was that a feature on MySpace?
Yeah.
Oh,
you.
yeah.
Yeah, you remember your
did.
top friends?
I have a ranking.
Yeah,
And,
and
you
then-
got pissed off if like your
Yeah.
best friend you weren't there and you're
Probably
like, fuck
Tom. I
off.
don't know.
That's such an Ian
Mine
move.
too.
No, yeah, fuck you.
Mine too.
No, Ian's move would be he would make friends accounts of himself and have
Yeah.
himself
Just me. Fucking love me.
Just all different headshots and different like.
Just different angles.
Guys, it's been fantastic having you on talk about the artistry, the majesty, the flaws perhaps of Major Payne, because that's the thing. Everyone has a different perspective on movies. I mean, Bartek and myself judge this movie in a higher grade than you, Ian.
Yeah.
And you
Some
know,
Hey,
people
you
are
gave it
wrong.
2 out of 3.
yeah, it's true. He really liked it.
Technically.
Bartek, as always, a pleasure to be hosting with you again.
Thank you.
I've
Except
never
that one time.
except that one time.
Those 3 times you weren't here.
Those 3 times I was away. I can't remember what excuses we came up for in those episodes, but I was
made
dead.
them up. Yeah, I basically killed you 3 times.
Colonoscopy.
So
Too busy writing
until-
emails under the guise of Vivian Norman Dixon.
Exactly.
Vivian Norman Dixon.
So, as always, guys, you've been fantastic, amazing, wonderful listening people. Until next time, remember to be kind to each other in a godly manner, or else you will not get this money.
$10.5
Now, godly with a
million.
capital G or a lowercase G?
Well, lowercase G, Bartek.
Right.
Let's
I gotta be
not- let's
honourable
not,
to
you
her.
know, jump to conclusions.
Throw in a capital G every now and then.
Will do.
Just for authenticity.
And just for fun, in the middle of a paragraph, just start a new paragraph.
And just save a brain tumor 3 times.
Yeah, because if people aren't sure after the first time, drill it
Yeah.
into them.
Yeah.
And then only mention the money once.
But I'm a
That would be my
I'm
driving
a widow,
force.
Ollie.
They spent so much goddamn time talking about a brain tumor and not about the money when that's the point of the email.
I was more shocked by the fact that she only mentioned the nurse ones. I needed to be reminded of that.
Dude, where is her movie?
nurse.
Chief
Where
nurse.
is her
Chief nurse.
movie where Damon Wayans plays the head nurse?
Is the chief nurse a mix of Chief Bromden and Nurse Ratched?
Yes.
Ooh.
Maybe. Bartek, we're not the pitch of this podcast, but we're pitching a movie. Check them out too, why not? We've had them on in the
Well,
past.
the one way to end this episode will be to just throw something and run away, I guess.
Okay.
Got a cup here. I'll hit the door with it. Someone sing the music from the end of what's that film?
Major Payne. His name is Major Payne.
Bye, Bartek.
Bye.
See ya.
Say hi to Vivian Norman Dixon for me.